Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to Playing in Traffic. This is where we do car stuff every Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And we have the fellas on tonight, and we're going to be talking about SEMA that's coming up in like less than 3 months. And we're talking about that and talking about some of the hot cars in Nelson's garage back there. What's up, fellas?
Lewis, yeah, 3 months. That's about when summer started, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's all right.
Yeah, man, it's coming quick. The cold weather is starting to get chilly here in Ohio, and we're just moving along like a herd of turtles.
Yeah, now I can work outside more comfortably.
Yeah.
I'm dying. I actually had my buddy at the shop called me the other day. I was back on the flatbed again, and he said, "Hey, you could do more brake line work." So I got more brake topicality to talk about. But he said, it's the rear end, so you got a lot of overhang there, so you'll be out of the sun. I was like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, the hot air blowing under it.
Actually, there was a nice breeze because down low you get a pretty cool breeze. It was nice.
Yeah,
but whatever.
You can lay the tarp over it and just have the fan blowing, or the heater or whatever you need at the time.
Right. Oh, that's
well, Brian. I was at Dollar Tree. Do you have Dollar Trees?
Yep.
And they had Hot Wheels there.
Yep. Did you go digging?
I don't know what I'm looking for, man. I'm looking at cars. I'm like, should I get this? I was like, no, Brian wouldn't like this. So I don't even know.
I wanted to tell you before we got started, but since we're on, your TikTok or your Instagram reel, when you made the purse.
Yeah.
I saw the Hot Wheels hanging up on the side, the El Camino.
Oh, yeah, right
here. I was going to make a comment about it. Yep, you're ultra.
Oh, yeah. You spotted it in the background.
Yeah,
huh?
I spotted it. Yeah, you can't hide that stuff from me. I was going to.
So, Roy, Brian is a fanatic on Hot Wheels. He has every car that you can imagine.
Is that right?
I got a few of them, yeah.
Yeah, I remember when they came out.
I wish I had all the ones. I have a handful. I don't have them all, but I have a handful. And some of those are pretty crazy. But
I remember the first ones and the ones that are more expensive and popular now.
Yeah.
The really rare ones. Yeah.
The Sweet 16, they're called.
Yeah.
16.
Now, what year did they start? Yeah, what year did they start producing those? Thank you, Louis.
68.
68.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was around. I was doing it. I was a kid.
I was almost here.
I was.
Come
on, really? I was just a little shit. What, 3, 4 years old? 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad
was the Sweet 16.
My dad was looking at my mom right now.
I was already banging double digits.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So Ray, go ahead and hit Roy with some questions because he knows some stuff. Believe me.
I think my wife is coming in here. The dogs are going crazy.
Okay. All right. So where do we start, Roy? I mean, if you had to give us your condensed biography, what would it be?
Well, I started in my garage at home, with bicycles, as a kid, and everything I made, somebody wanted to have it, and my father was a mechanic all of his life, military. And he opened a service station, a Ohio service station in our town. We moved out of East Cleveland into Menor, Ohio. And I went to work for him when I was 13. And, by the time I was 16, I was setting up carbs and, we had a sun scope. I was, with an oscilloscope. And I was just setting up cars for people,
Yeah.
16 years old.
That's great.
And, just thinking about how limited we are with cam timing, and we can advance the the electric timing, but just stuff like that as a young guy. I loved it.
So what era of cars are we talking about at that time?
Mostly early 60s cars. I worked on some 50s cars, mostly early 60s. Had a couple of 57 Chevys and
okay.
that I spent a lot of time on, and had a lot of customers with great big old boats that I used to work on. But
that's kind of how we all grew up. Yeah, we all kind of.
Hold on a second.
On that stuff. Yeah.
He's gonna take his dogs out.
Yeah.
So Nelson, what you got hiding back there? That pretty blue thing.
Well, that is actually a Morgan. It's do you remember the wood frame car that was built in England?
Yeah.
Well, they still make them today. This is it's not. It's more of the cab is encased with English ash, and that's actually tied in with a tube frame. But they actually still make them today. This is actually a 2019 version. This car is an anniversary blue after some of their old race cars. I don't know if this might work better.
Yeah, that's good.
And this one here is fully dressed and functioning. This one has a 4-cylinder. It's a Ford 4-cylinder, but it only weighs 1,400 pounds complete. So this one was hand built in England. I have all the build sheets. It's got some really nice lines. This has been a dream of mine since high school. I have a lot of cousins and stuff in the over in England and stuff. But even the dash is done by hand. You could actually go to Morgan Motor Company and look at it, and you could take tours via drones and stuff through their shops and see the forms and stuff, and how the fenders are actually these fenders are actually glued up with wood and in a form and that they've been using since 1918. And behind some of this stuff, you could actually see some of the wood accents. Probably not so good through the phone here, but in behind the wheels, you can see where the frame is met with the wood right there.
Yeah.
And it's actually a really fun car to drive because it's so light. The 4-cylinder gives it a little bit of pep because of the weight, but it's geared fairly nice, so you can still drive it on the highway and stuff.
Now, what motor does it have?
It does have a top. It has bolt-on doors that go right here. And as you see, it's just a really fun piece of work.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So,
yeah, you can obviously see the better fit and finish on this car than the originals. The attention to detail is nice.
Yeah, you can see the wood. Well, probably not here, but this whole. Let me see if I can get the camera angle right. Well, yeah, you're not going to be able to see that, but this is where the wood lays and meets the tin right here, and it's really, really good fit there. So
now,
they still have the hood that opens to the sides and stuff. Show you that. That's pretty easy.
Now, did they stop making them for a while, or have they been making them the whole time?
No, they're still making them. 2019, though, has been the last year that they've shipped in the United States. They're going to come back, they're saying, in April because of the EPA bill that went into place. There was autonomous driving put into that bill. So they didn't have anything of the sort with this coach-built vehicle, so they just have not been allowed in the United States since then. So this is actually going to take both hands to open this hood here. Well, let's see if I can do something here.
Where's your helper at?
She's studying for a test.
Oh, okay.
So fourth grade has turned out to be quite a bit harder for her.
Yeah.
So she actually had a meeting with AMSOIL, so we're going to be doing something at Sema with AMSOIL as well. So
nice.
So as you see, this right here just has this Ford 4-cylinder in it. It's a nice fit. There's plenty of room. Now they do have V8s for these, and my God, they're a rocket. They do race these into Le Mans, and they've actually placed. So, you know, when you're talking about a car with a V8 that's 2,300 pounds or 2,200 pounds, it's a bullet.
Yeah.
So
is that just naturally aspirated? That's not like a turbo or EcoBoost or anything like that.
No, not on this one. This is the 2-liter Ford GDI, 169 horsepower, and it's got coilovers on it. I don't know how much you can actually see. Malick intake.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
Yeah. Now, the new ones, the 2020s and up, they actually went because of the EPA. They went to the BMW motors, so the 4-cylinder would be turbocharged. And the hot one that they have is a twin turbo Supra engine with the automatic 8-speed.
Wow.
So, and you know, you couple that with an extremely light car, and you know, I could actually get up to if I take off on a red light and just take a 90-degree turn, I could actually, you know, full throttle it and not swing out the back end. This thing handles really, really good. So, what else is there to see? I guess, and it does have a Sony sound system in it, but it's tucked so far up under the dash you could barely even see it.
Yeah.
But it's not really to enjoy. And you can't see that up in there. It's too dark.
I'll tell you, like you said, the fit and finish is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you open the garage and all you can do is smell the leather and stuff. It's really, really nice.
So how many miles do you have on her?
I've got 2016 miles on it now.
No, okay.
So I don't drive it a whole lot.
Right.
So, and I feel like you're squeezing yourself into a really, really tight glove.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very difficult to get out.
Is your KZ in the garage there?
No. You talking about my motorcycle? No, I've got it at work.
Oh, okay.
Motorcycle is a Kawasaki Z900, and
it's based off
that
the
one there.
KZ.
It's got the 4-cylinder in it, so it's a pretty light bike. It's 478 pounds. I want to say it's 130 horsepower.
Yeah.
So it'll get on pretty good.
When you posted the picture, man, it brought back memories. I'm like, oh man, look at the KZ.
Yeah, it was. It's based off the KZ. It's a 2018. It's the first retro bike. I want to say Christy Lee has the same bike, but a different color scheme. There was only 3 color schemes in 2018.
Yeah, I tell you what, they did a good job bringing it back.
Yeah, it's very comfortable to ride. It's just you got to watch the throttle though. If you wrap it pretty quick, and you don't have you're not square on the seat, it'll throw you off.
Yeah.
What do you need? So little Sportster. Here comes the Sportster.
Hey,
there she is.
Are you getting ready for bed? Mm-hmm. Okay. How's schoolwork going? Good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you ready for SEMA? Mm-hmm. You getting excited?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't wait to see you. We're gonna have fun.
Heck yeah. She's gonna terrorize all of Central Hall.
Take over.
So it'll be fun.
Awesome.
Yep, she can't wait to see the McDonald's inside the casino.
Oh yeah.
Yep, the circus.
Yeah, big adventure.
That's awesome. The important things in life. That's right. Make that list and do it.
Right.
That's right. You know that? Okay, so we're gonna have to win a teddy bear at Circus. And what else do we got to do?
Food.
Eat good food.
Eat good food and have to have good food.
Okay. What about have see friends?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what counts.
All right, Nora.
I can't remember the other hotel that had the lions in it or the tigers. Was it tigers or lions? I can't remember.
I think it was Tigers. I think was that MG. Is that MGM?
MGM, yeah.
I think, yeah, we went over there and watched it during feeding time. That was pretty interesting, but
who's yours or theirs?
Theirs. That was pretty interesting.
Hey, I'll watch it on Discovery.
Watch it on Discovery.
So this will show you about the leg room on this thing.
Wow.
Laura could just about disappear in it.
Disappear. Yeah.
So
wow. Good for you, Lewis.
So Lewis, you could actually fit in this thing, Lewis.
Okay. I'll take it around the block.
We'll have to go. Heck yeah.
I want to drive the
We'll
Benz.
definitely test it.
I want to drive the Mercedes, the big boy.
You want to see the other one?
Yeah. Show him the Mercedes, man. This car is no joke.
All right. Well,
what model is it?
You gotta do a little more stretching there. Look at that.
No, that's the top.
AMG 63.
AMG 63. Now that's the top one before it gets to the Maybach, right?
Yes. Yeah, this one here is the V8 twin turbo all-wheel drive. From the factory, it was computer controlled to shut down. It was limited at 189 mile an hour.
Yeah. Autobahn. Autobahn.
Me and Sam put a chip in it, so.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I don't want to find out what it is. It's already fast enough.
Dwayne Maddox was talking to me one day. He's like, man, I went for a ride in there, and I thought somebody was in the back seat because we were going around a bend, and the seat started grabbing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does that.
Also has massages.
Yeah, the front seats has built-in massaging, and heated massage and other stuff. It's a pretty loaded car.
I like the design on the seats. I might have to steal that for my future future interior.
Heck yeah. And even the back seats got pretty nice there.
They recline,
There's a charger right here.
Yeah, they recline. They're heated. They're also air conditioned.
There's also a charger back here.
Yeah, and the armrest.
Yeah. You need to fly that to Vegas so we can roll in it.
Heck yeah, man. That would be nice. But I think I'd rather be in the car than doing all that work. But I guess I got to do the work to enjoy the car.
Yeah, right.
Right, Nor?
Uh-huh.
That's right. It could be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, beautiful car. Okay, Roy, you're back up.
Yeah, my wife came in and the dogs went crazy.
Okay, so where'd you leave off? You left off carburetors, I think.
In the early 60s.
Yeah, just as a kid, I got into tuning them, make them run right. And, all different engines. I don't think I had a loyalty. I mean, I love the small block Chevy, but I love the V4 Yamaha. It doesn't matter what it is. Doing it for my friends. And then people just started showing up, and before I know it, I was taking over the bay, My dad wasn't happy with me. then swapping motors, putting bigger motors in little cars, a little love truck and put a small block in it, MG, V8s and stuff like that. Big motors, little cars.
Heck yeah. Sound
Now,
like what Terry just did.
yeah. Now Ray is he builds carburetors, and so you guys would probably do well.
Oh, yeah.
And bench. Yeah.
Yeah, to dabble with those a little bit.
Yeah, I think I probably rebuild about every kind of carburetor there is,
I kind of thought the same thing, and now I was talking about this about a month ago. Now all of a sudden I'm getting these 1 and 2 barrels, and I'm saying, man, I have them sitting as cores, and I've known about them forever, and I had cars with them, and some of them I never rebuilt, and I realized why. Nobody was running them in my circles. Everybody was yanking them off, putting 4-barrel on. So
yep.
So now I'm rebuilding them. It's like new all over again. Kind of interesting. Yeah.
My boy. Yeah, the variable Venturi Fords, I remember when they first came out with those. They were a nightmare for most people, and I kind of enjoyed them. I did a lot of
them. Do you know what model that carburetor is?
The variable Venturis, they were on the Lincolns and on the big Fords, on the 302s. It was a 2-barrel.
All right,
I don't remember.
I've done on the 4 barrels. I've done a bunch of 4100s.
Yeah.
And then this year I got tossed a 4300, and I never saw one before. And then I started seeing it. They consider that the oddball black sheep of the Ford 4-barrel family.
Yeah.
And I saw why, because when I rebuilt it, the floats were just really wonky. It was just a weird, everything they said was true. I gave it to my buddy for his car, and I said, listen, I don't have a lot of faith in this carburetor and this rebuild. Plus, there was a lot of problems with threads, and people have been in it a lot. I said, listen, if it doesn't work, go out and get yourself an Edelbrock 600 with an electric choke. I'll help you put it on, and the thing will run like aces. And
so it was an Autolite, right?
Autolite or a Motorcraft?
Motorcraft.
I think Motorcraft. Let me see.
He has one right there, Ray.
No, I just want to see if by luck I have the instruction sheet here. And what do you know? Ford carburetor. Oh, this is a 1-barrel. I'm sorry. This is the 1100. No, so I don't have. I have it. I filed it already. I keep a binder with all the all the rebuild sheets. Not for the rebuild information, really, just for the specs. So I think it was a Motorcraft, but and I think just like the 4100, it'll be a piece of cake. And then Brian, we spoke about that carburetor for a while, and I found out that it was this one happened to be on a Mercury Montego, but it was on some of the bigger Fords as well, and it worked. He got back to me and said, "You know what? The thing runs great. It started right up."
Good.
Choke said, "Because I'm happy as a pig." I said, "Wow." I said, "Excellent." Lucky you, because I didn't have faith in it. So. Good.
Yeah, Roy did Peach's carburetors for me.
Okay. So when you rebuild, Roy, what's your favorite method of cleaning the carburetors?
You can't get it anymore. It was a 5-gallon pail of poison, you just dip them and clean them and soak them good, and then
Hydro Seal?
Yeah, I think it is.
I have about 5 gallons of it, but unfortunately it's the newer formulation.
Right.
I mean, that stuff I have an agitator, and I would use when I would pull it out, you always got to do a little hand brushing, and always one little drop of fluid would come up and hit you on the cheek, and it would just burn immediately. I was like, yeah, that's some good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Now it doesn't burn. I switched over to electrostatic. I bought a big electrostatic tank, and I do it that way now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been so long since I've done a carburetor, I can't remember the last time. I've been out of circulation actually for the last year, recovering from brain surgery.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so I've been I haven't really done a lot,
Well, I was going to say, it looks like you're doing okay. Then again, you came on with us, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Maybe reverting a little.
We're doing great, actually.
Go back to the doc, just to double check.
Yeah.
We've been known to be bad influences on this show.
I gave that up.
Really?
Yeah, I try not to be a bad influence anymore.
Yeah. No, you know what? That's true. I know we all try to be, and we all do a lot of good influence work with people and especially younger people.
Yep.
We all kind of do that here, which is Terry, which is, Justin, and that's, to me, that's what it's all about. That is actually my new kind of like my life goal in retirement, is to be even more influential with the younger set.
Yeah, absolutely.
On your
I haven't
carburetor
found
thing.
what I want to get back to yet. I'm still trying to find it.
Okay.
I figure it out.
With the carburetor thing, you're speaking my goofy language with the variable Venturi carb. That's on my car.
Oh, you got that on your Lincoln?
The 7200 the Lincoln has a 7200 on it.
It's a 7200. Okay.
They had a 27 and a 72. I just rebuilt the 72 on my car.
Yeah.
How was it to rebuild, Justin? What was
that's
it?
a goofy son of a gun.
Was there any issues? I know you mentioned that. What were the issues with the rebuild?
It's just there's like 10 times more parts than any other carburetor I've went through.
Yep. Yep. And I had so many of those coming to me that people didn't know how to repair, and here all it was the choke heater was rusted off of it, and the choke was electric, but it had to be completely heated for the bimetal to open up and have the choke stay open.
Right, and I heard they had
so it would work right at first, and then it would start to load up.
They had a problem.
I saw that
with those diaphragms too. I found was a big thing.
Yeah.
Here's one for you. My Fiat, I have a Weber on the Fiat. It has a water choke. It actually uses coolant to go into the choke housing, and the coolant heats up the thermostatic spring.
Yep.
The Italians had a better idea.
Okay.
It works. It actually works. It really does.
Hey, as long as it works.
Yeah.
LS swapping it.
Terry, you got yourself involved in a nice little project. I caught you on. I was watching Kiwi's channel, and I'm like, and he goes down to visit Kevin Tetz. I'm like, okay, cool. And I go, wait a minute, I know that guy in the back. What's going on here?
Oh, so you subscribe to Kiwi?
Yeah.
Kiwi Classic?
Yeah.
He's a fun guy. He's a great guy. I don't know if y'all saw it in one of the videos. We had like a little kiwi. He has a kiwi in the back.
He has it in all of his videos.
Yeah.
Every video.
That kiwi was in the back of that Miata. And I think it might be making his way to Ellis Fest. I'm not sure.
Where he goes, the kiwi goes.
It's a really cute kiwi.
So I think you need a mascot.
You need a mascot.
Yeah, we got to find you a mascot.
I don't know what, but
No, we had a good time. It was really good. Jeremy Winters. We had the guy from Bronco. Oh, what was he? He had a 75 Bronco outside, which was really cool. Those things are really cool when you see them, on TV and on the net, they're cool. But to actually get one of those little mini Broncos, I think they went from, I forget what year they started, but they went all the way to, I think, 77, 78. Those Broncos are really cool.
77.
I got a great story.
I think so.
I got a great story on that Bronco. So when I was dating my wife, we just started dating. She had no interest in cars, anything, nothing like that, right? So I'll take her to our local Hot Rod Nationals, and some girls rode by in a convertible Bronco, and it was like a powder blue. It was like, girly. I was like, babe, look at that car. That's pretty nice. I was like, you look good in that. And she looks at it. She goes, I really like that. And that's where it got her. She was hooked after that. So anytime we went to car shows, she started pointing out stuff, and now she's through.
Ford had a couple of colors like that. That powder blue was one. They had a yellow that was like chiffon yellow. Actually, Caddy had a chiffon yellow too. I guess it was the 70s.
They had that orange color that was really cool with the white trim.
They had a bird car too that was kind of cool. I know they had T-birds. Yeah.
Those Broncos, man, they're commanding quite a bit of money now. I mean, like, if you there's not really much to them. I mean, but they just worth a lot of money.
There's not many of them left.
Yeah, try fire one without rust. That hasn't gone back to the earth.
I think Arco has a couple.
Arco got like 4 of them.
Yeah.
So Terry, how did you get? What was the impetus of that whole project? How did you get involved? Because there was no. I didn't hear any backstory about that from anybody. So I was curious. How did you? You know,
I guess in 2000, that project was supposed to be done. I guess maybe 2019 because Lewis was at SEMA, and you remember he had mentioned it.
Mhm.
He had mentioned that he's going to be doing an LS swap in a Miata. He even brought over like the renderings of car, what it looked like, and and he had hands-on cards. Kevin Tetz, he let me see this. He said, "Sir, don't let no one see it." I was like, "No problem." And so that car was supposed to come out, but then SEMA didn't happen. 2020, 2021. I'm not sure how people say it was good. Some people say it was bad. I don't know, but then he's like, okay, we're gonna do one. He called me up and said, Terry, when do you have time? I want you to come on down and help get the LS installed. Well, not even so installed because he had it already installed and everything.
Yeah.
And he did a remote tune with Lance Drager, and he says, well, I want you to just go over the engine, make sure everything's good and everything like that. And I was like, well, who did the tune? And he goes, Lance Drager. I didn't even pull my laptop out of my bag because there's two people that when they tell me that they did a tune, these people did a tune. One is Ed Gomez, and he was the guy that was on Trans Am Worldwide doing the tunes there, and Lance Drager. When I hear those two did a tune, there's no point. You're not gonna correct what they did because they did it. It's 100%. And so other than just going to the dyno, then it's a matter of them testing themselves to see how close they can get with a remote as opposed to a dyno tune. Because that's what Ed Gomez does. He's like, I'm going to tune the snot out of your car, and I want to see if I'm off or, off the dyno, if I can get a little bit better or see how good I am. And he does that. And so basically what I did was he needed the catch can hooked up. We did that, hooked that up. He just needed everything tightened up because there was a couple of things that weren't tight, like the header bolts and all that stuff. And I just went over it. He's just like, don't feel that, you're checking on me or anything. I mean, just do it. He says, check on me, make sure, because, when you're in a rush and you're doing these LSs, you might, okay, let me just put this loose now and come back later, and later never comes and you forget.
Right.
So I just wanted to, go over a couple of things. There was a couple of things that I saw that I was like, I would change that up. He goes, then change it, do it. And then we did a smoke test because Lance said that he was detecting a vacuum leak. And so we did a smoke test, and that thing was sealed. It was sealed. There was a little smoke coming out of the throttle spring where the spring of the throttle is, but you got to expect that a little bit. And that was it. Other than that, I mean, we had that smoke on full blast. So if it was going to come out,
vacuum leak, right? I mean,
that's straight out the package, exactly. And we turned the lights out. We had like blue lights, So it was 100%, and we just so at that point I was just like, okay, time to put the seats in. We did a couple of other things, like I did a couple of car runs, like to the auto parts store, and it was just a great deal. We just had fun. I was out there for 2 days, and I got to meet Kiwi Customs. He's a really good guy, and we just had a good time, man. Putting that car together. Yeah. And I learned so much about. Yeah, I learned so much about what's called painting because, like, I want to paint my my Chevelle. I'm going to do it myself. The way I see it, if you mess up, strip it down and do it again. It's time, and you invest in time into yourself. And if you mess up 3 or 4 times, you know what? The 5th, 6th, 7th time, you're going to be painting a car, and then you never have to worry about painting a car ever again or paying someone to paint your car. So, education. That's it. Paint yourself. Yeah.
You got it.
I thought it was cool watching one channel that I follow and then finding somebody else that I knew there. I just thought that was kind of cool. Nice surprise. Nice.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He says he wants me to come down. There's a couple of more. There's a couple of LS builds that he might want to continue, might want to do. And I was like, he goes, Terry, would you come on back down? I said, absolutely, man. If you got the butterscotch moonshine, I'm here.
Yeah.
And I'm not a drinker.
Butterscotch moonshine.
Oh my God, that's so good. Like I had that when I was at Derek Bieri's shop, helping him. And I was just like, I hate to say, but I can understand why people become alcoholics. This stuff is really smooth. That butterscotch moonshine was something else, man. And he kept it in the freezer because it was nice and cold. and I had one sip, and I was hooked. I was like, "Oh my god, this is wonderful." Because he was like, "Yeah, try it." I was like, "I don't drink, Derek. I don't, So you take it away. Take it away. Next morning, I was like, "Hey, Derek, well, you got any more of that moonshine?" He said, "Next time I have peanut butter for you." He said, No. Let's not deviate. Butterscotch is fine. I'm a creature of habit.
If you wake up and you feeling fine, that was some good stuff.
Oh, it was smooth. It wasn't like you figure moonshine was going to rip your neck off.
No. If
No,
it's
that
good,
thing was
if it's
silky
good,
smooth.
you'll wake up and you'll be just fine to start the next day. You're not on the hook,
I even had some after lunch, a little sip,
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm hooked, man. You give me some. Look at Nelson because he knows where to get some. And see, there's also video coming out with Nelson Gill because when I was down in Tennessee, I guess a couple of months ago, helping Derek, I stopped off at his shop. We did a video there. So that's going to be coming out soon. He took me around the shop. He showed me where Sweet Home Alabama was created and all that stuff. Because right behind his shop is where Leonard Skinner used to hang out, our studio back there.
Yeah.
Cool. Tell you what, that museum is pretty nice too. The music museum across the street.
So we had a good time. But that's how I got hooked up with that. And of course, Kevin calls. Anyone you guys call, I'll come on down there. Say, yeah, man, let's do this.
Time to move south.
Maybe 5 years, another 4-year plan.
I'm getting ready. I'm closer than that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Any plans, Ray? Where are you thinking about?
We're gonna go down. We got to make a trip this winter. I want to see the area in the winter and then get another look around and look at some more houses and all. And we're getting closer.
Heck yeah.
Well,
I've got some exciting news for Sema. That the lead guitarist for Chicago, Tim Lawrence, is going to be with us at the Sema show this year.
Oh, nice.
So he'll be hanging out with us and checking out all the he'll probably be walking the show more than staying at my booth, but he's going to swing by and hang out for a minute.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
That's been a bucket list of his for years. Started off playing lead guitarist for Poison for about 15 years, and then the last 35 years it's been with Chicago. So he's talking to the other band members and seeing if they're going to be coming in. So
most of those guys are car guys?
Yeah.
Here, Terry, I got a little strawberry for you.
There you go.
Ooh, buddy.
Look, hey, he look like a crack dealer. He was shaking it. You see how he was shaking it?
Come on up, Terry. Come on down, buddy.
That's how Lewis walks into the shop with the bag of 8s and 10s. He's like, I got 8s and 10s. Everybody flocks around.
We got a little strawberry in there. That's puts a little hair on your chest.
I need it.
What do? You rub it on your face?
Try not to make a mess. Yeah. So.
Only because the only guy I know grow a full beard in about a day and a half.
I got friends like that, man. They come in clean shaved by noon. They look like Brian.
Right.
Yeah, my brother's like that. I'll see him one day, and like a week later, he got a full beard. This is about this is like 4 years of growing. And
a few years, That's been a while. I actually had my goatee when you were growing that, and I took mine off, and you kept going.
Yeah, I hate shaving. God, I hate it.
It's easier just not to.
Yeah.
So, Bill, are you going to Sema?
No, I'm not going. I'd love to go, but I can't make it this year.
Hey, listen, call off sick, man. Just call off. You want me to call for you? I'll call.
Yeah, give him a call, would you please?
Let's see who's going to Sema out here. I know Justin's going.
I wish. I don't think we are.
You told me you were going.
We're trying to plan something, but
are you talking about PRI? Which one you going? You going to PRI?
Oh, definitely PRI.
All right.
yeah.
Well, okay.
That one's only. I think we're only 6 hours from, and we're not that far.
Yeah.
I know Boss Hog is going.
Yes.
I know Ray's going.
Going to North Carolina.
I'm going to North Carolina.
We're talking about making a shop trip out of it maybe next year.
So I know Donnie Bomber's coming. Sarah Edwards is on the fence. Who else have I heard? I know Dave Kindig's coming. I've talked to Brianna Hahn. Dwayne Maddox is coming from Monster Garage. He's going to be hanging with us. And I'm trying to get Ryan Schneider with Performa Builds. We've been doing a lot of business back and forth. I think he'd love to at least come hang out,
Good guy. Love that guy.
Yeah. And Sammy Malouf, we've been, have you guys talked to him before?
No.
No, he's got a new Netflix show that just came out with his
I saw
family.
that.
It's a good show, man. As a matter of fact, I talked to Sammy today, and he's coming to the SEMA show. We're doing a little secret surprise for. He wants to call out somebody, so we're doing a no prep torque converter for him. So he's going to come out screaming. It's going to be a really unique vehicle he's got coming out. So he's going head to head with a pro mod. So it's going to be an interesting bout. So, we're trying to get into the hot forward.
Let his daughters drive before they get to Sammy,
Yeah. They're doing a great job, too. The twins are actually doing stunts now and stuff. So, obviously, if you watch the Netflix, you can see all that stuff. But, yeah.
What's the name of the show?
It's called Drive Hard, the Malouf Way.
The Malouf Way, yep.
Okay.
Yep. If you want to get him on, I'm sure he'd love to come on and talk about his business and stuff.
We talked to him, Lewis. I think we went over to his booth at one point with his daughters.
He was standing up there.
Yeah.
He had the one daughter that was on that show. What was the name of that show? Drag race.
Fastest car with lunch money.
Right.
Yeah.
Lunch, exactly. She was racing against BC. Was it BC? Lunch
BC
Money.
and Hannah Malouf.
And Hannah, those three were racing. Lunch Money,
and
Corey, and
they beat the GT40.
Hannah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And,
Lunch Money. Corey beat the GT40.
Yeah. Send me his info, Nels.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure thing.
Yeah,
you know what I found out, Nelson? I did not know. I did not know Josh was on the fastest car either.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the fastest. He was on the fastest car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reach out to my boy Brian. He had the chrome Lamborghini.
Okay.
with the
that guy,
bright shoes.
The lawyer.
He's a big dog.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy had me crying.
He usually goes to SEMA, but he pops in and out. But he's usually doing stuff around Vegas. But I'll see if we can get him over to the booth too.
That would be funny. Oh my god, I love
fun, man.
Good dude, man. Good dude. He's a big dog. He has a SUV Lambo too.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
hey, let me ask y'all's opinion, man. I mean, we're trying to do something different, and I'm just trying to do something for the background of my booth. Do you think doing less is more, or do you think something big and flashy, or you saw how my booth was. I was talking about planning it out, I guess, making it a lot more simple with just a collage of pictures.
I think me on there like this. That'd be it right there.
I'll do it.
I like your banners, man. I mean, you always got a nice setup. I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying. Especially with that silver. I don't know, was it a Trailblazer SS on there?
Yeah, man. Should have seen that at PRI.
Yeah, that guy. I don't know who but
hey,
I like
Nelson? Nelson, why don't you put together some renderings and we'll shop them around and see what people think. Maybe have people vote on them, or
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, let's do that.
But you got to keep that silver Trailblazer on there. That's that picture. I don't know.
Hey, listen, every time
that truck is smoking.
Terry will call me, right? And I hear the truck in the background while he's driving. I'm like, man, that thing sounds good. He's hitting corners. I know he's acting up a little bit just because I'm on the phone. You know what I mean?
No, that's illegal. I have no part of that.
Not Terry.
No, not me. No.
That truck sounds good.
I think the white man was driving that day. I was in the passenger seat. Now that's a fun truck. That's a fun truck. You know, like, and I don't imagine it got more funner, you know, with that torque converter because that thing kicks.
Roy, he has a Trailblazer SS, and it was all-wheel drive. He turned it into two-wheel drive, and got it all hopped up. It's a nice truck.
No.
He had a custom guy bring him a hood, special hood for it. It's pretty nice.
That was the only one left.
Custom guy.
Left.
Yeah,
that was the only hood left. Man, I was so grateful for that one.
He sent me to Chicago, where it's the worst in the country, and I had to dodge bullets and get this hood. But I got it out of there just for Terry, man, because he's my dude.
I was in the shop today. And the guy brought it in saying that he was losing coolant and couldn't figure out why. And so they went to look, and the check engine light was on, and it had 4 bullet holes in the front of the car.
Nice.
It was an Audi A4, I think, but 2 of them went through the intercooler and the radiator, and 1 went through the front valance, and it actually went through and then went down into the frame of the car, and the other one that skimmed the bottom of the radiator, it went underneath, but it got bounced off around the lower control arm. But the guy was like, I don't know, man, driving down the road, check engine light comes on and it says I was losing, and then I had no coolant. So
that radio turned up.
Well, it was parked in wherever it was parked, and whatever activities went on.
Wow!
The car caught 4 bullets. So
must be nice to have to go to work where you got to wear a bulletproof vest, huh?
I tell you, man. And then it was funny. I was at my last shop, and the guy was like, "Come here and look at this." And it was about 1 a.m. They show this dude running down the street out in front of this guy's place. And about 30 seconds later, this car comes around on 2 wheels, opening up, firing all over the place down the alley and so forth. So
that's like the stuff I watch on YouTube.
I know, man. It's crazy.
That's what I watch on YouTube.
This is it's getting unbelievable.
What about those kids that close off intersection and do donuts, man?
I see that up here. I see that up here a lot.
Yeah, that was right. Yeah. I was smack dab right in the middle of one of my areas, right down in the middle of downtown Silver Spring.
Yeah,
they did that.
I've seen that too.
They had that at Woodward, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
They actually right down the street from my house. There's a UPS place. It's back off in the industrial park, but they were down in there, and a county cop went down in there, and they blocked them in, and they were doing all that stuff and jumping on his car and doing all kinds of crazy ass stuff. And
the only saving grace with those guys is every once in a while one of them goes wide and just hits a pole or a stanchion or something.
Or a bunch of people.
Well, they run over 2 other people.
Yes, the people that run out into the middle of the deal and then get hit.
Yeah. I know.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. And it seems like they tell them, get up. People got broken legs and they're getting up, clapping.
Hey, you see the guy that ripped his pants off?
So I heard that was at Woodward for the Dream Cruise.
Yeah, the car ran him over and spent the tires and snatched his pants to his knees.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that one. Yes. Yes.
You gotta be an idiot standing there in the middle of that mess.
You'd expect that to only be in Alabama.
You should walk. You should walk up and down Woodward on a regular day. It's like that everywhere.
Yeah,
they tried. They did that. They some fool. I don't know what it was. He was doing donuts on the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Oh man.
Well, yeah, he closed
that one too. Yeah, on the tap, right?
They were just waiting for him. They were just like, "Oh, let him finish."
Oh yeah,
yeah.
We ain't gonna know that.
Yeah. Put him under jail.
That's crazy.
Come on over to Nyack. We got a couple of boys.
Exactly. Where's he gonna go? He's gotta go. He's either gotta go. Yeah.
Right.
He can't run. There's no way to run. They were just waiting for him.
That's reciprocity is a bitch.
And now they taking your car away. That's it.
Oh yeah.
That's it. You're done.
I was on a rally race in Canada, and this young kid, man, he had a Ferrari, and he come up missing. We made it to a checkpoint, and he never showed up. We was like, oh man, they must have got him. So a couple hours later, he pulls in. He goes, his dad was some kind of bigwig, and he got him out of it, man. They were going to take his car, his license, everything.
Yeah.
For anything over 100 miles an hour, man, they jam you up in Canada. And he thought he was going to jail, but his dad did some calling, got him out. Got his car back. Yep.
See, what about the guy who doesn't have a dad that can make that phone call, man? That just sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
That just sucks. And to me, that means he probably did it before, and his father had to make a phone call. So I'm sure this is in the first,
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, he couldn't have been 22, 23.
Yeah.
Driving a $300,000 car.
Wow.
Yeah. A little bit. Hey, Brian, I got a question for you. Do you sell Leatherman multi-tools?
I can get them.
Man, I bought one the other day, and I cannot believe I haven't bought one earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, man. I love this tool, man. I'm going to buy one for every spot in the house.
One right in my desk drawer.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is a
I love
garbage.
it. And I'm cheap. I don't like to spend money, man. And I was like, I'm not spending that kind of money on that tool, but man, for some reason I bought it, and I got the Wave
Yeah,
Plus.
I usually put them on the truck close to Christmas time. They're good gifts.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I want to get a couple different ones. One for my bug out bag and one for everywhere.
Put one on the kitchen sink.
One
I'll
of my
send you
daughters,
one, Lewis. I got a few. I'll send you one.
one of my daughters even bought me a small one. It's like a tiny one.
Yeah.
It's like a little version. Like, okay, I don't remember where I put it.
Man, I'm telling you what, dude. I can't believe I haven't bought one sooner. If I would have held one, I probably would have. Because man, this thing is like perfectly, no sharp edges, just nice tool.
Right.
Yeah. And it's got everything in it.
Yeah. And I had to get some customized stuff coming in the mail. So as soon as that gets here, I might engrave it, mess around.
That's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I need a tool chest finally. I'm ready to buck up.
Really?
Ready?
Right.
Once you just buy, I got a tool truck you can buy.
Where are you gonna
I
put
don't
it?
need a tool truck. I need a tool chest.
He might have
Drawer.
no
I need a nice size drawer.
Hey,
With USB
Roy will
ports.
tell you. Roy will tell you how bad I need one, and I'm cheap. I don't want to spend the money on it. I got
Yeah, but
tools
you have
everywhere.
You have a knack for putting stuff away where you know where it is.
Yeah. I think it's over there. One day I'll break down and get one.
I sold my bottom box about 8-9 months ago that I got back in the 70s. And I miss it.
Yeah.
I miss
That's
it.
the one I want right there.
That's the real box.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the
But you know what?
That's
But I'll tell you this: we've had this conversation on this show. I bought my boxes in the '80s, early '80s, and they're obsolete because you can't put the new tools in them. I mean, the way tools come now, they just don't fit in the toolbox. So, and so if you do continue to buy new tools, you have a problem, like me.
I don't look like that.
Yeah, we put them in the molded boxes or the foam pads, and
right,
or and the hangers, I mean, or wrench racks are all spaced out. It's terrible what we do to you guys
It
on
is.
making this room not fit.
It is. It really is a shame.
We shouldn't. That was like, I guess I was third or fourth year in, and I was having thoughts about going back, turning wrenches, and so I had cleaned out my toolbox and I put it on the truck, and I just put a sign on it for how much, and there was no, if I sold it, this is what I was going to do. If I didn't sell it, I was going to go back. I was just at that point. And so it was funny, and I figured, okay, and it put it on the truck, I don't know, a week or two, stopped at a shop, owner comes out and says, man, I love that box. I said, look, it's no deals. This is the price. If you want it, I can unload it, whatever. And he goes, well, I don't know, let me think. He goes, you'll take a check, right? I said, I'll take anything you got, buddy. And I didn't really think much of it. So go back in to hand out the receipts, walk by, he hands me a check. And I said, what's that? And he goes, that's for the box on the truck. And I was like, okay. So I go and unload it, rolled it in the shop. And I was like, man, I can't believe I sold that thing. I guess this is it. This is what I want to do. So I came home and I started thinking, I said, it can't be that bad. Because I have 2 transmission tables, and I had everything put in boxes on top of the transmission table. So, man, I want to tell you something. 6 months later, I couldn't find a damn thing. There was tools everywhere. Because, anybody would come down, they'd grab something out of the box. It'd be, I had stuff in the backyard. I had stuff in the kitchen. I had stuff everywhere.
I hate that.
And I was like, I cannot believe I sold that box. I mean, I said, I'm not. So I guess a year had gone by, and I was at my tool show, and I won a toolbox. I won a toolbox.
Nice.
And I was like, wow. And everybody was like, oh, man, I can't believe you won that toolbox. And, man, you could say, I said, I think I want to keep that toolbox. So I when I went up to get my plaque, or not my plaque, but my information on it, I said, is there any way that I could upgrade, go to the next size box if I pay the difference? And they were like, oh, yeah, you can, you can do whatever you want. You got the value of this much, And I said, okay. So that's when I ordered my new box, or the box that I had. And so I had that for like, I don't know, 10 years or whatever went on. And one day one of my customers come by and says, man, I really like that toolbox. And I said, man, I'm not selling that toolbox. I'm not selling that toolbox.
Well, wait, what was it doing on the truck? Shouldn't it have been at your house?
No, it was at my house. He came by. The customer came by, and we're in the garage, and he's like, I really like that. And I said, they don't make that box that way anymore. That's different. They changed the configuration. And he's like, man, I really like that box. And I said, man, I'm not selling the box, dude. There's no way. He goes, everything has a price.
I got a blank check.
Well, it wasn't a blank check, but I was like, you want that box? This is what I'll do. And he ended up buying that box. And I was like, I can't believe I'm going through this again.
Oh, you suck, man.
I was like, God. So at least when I sold the box, I took the money from that, and I did buy a newer, a newer version. But I really wish I'd kept my original box in the first place, just because. I liked the way that box was. It didn't have all the mine's got all the bells and whistles. It's powered. It's got plugs. It's got it's got charging stations and all
Nice.
kinds
Fancy
of stuff.
dancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for modern convenience. That's nice.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey Terry, this is what we'll do. When you come here with your truck deal, we'll take a road trip down to Brian's because he got a whole bunch of used ones, and we'll grab a couple of those, bring them back up.
Oh,
I
no
got
doubt.
I got a few in the works. I got a few. I hope they all go through. So
Yeah,
What boxes? Yo, hook up
Yeah.
my buddy. My buddy.
I got. Actually, it was funny. I did have one box that had Ford Mustang stickers all over it, and
Terry needs that one.
yeah. Well, it was funny. The guy that bought it was a real, diehard Chevrolet guy, and it was kind of funny rolling that box off.
So he said, "Look, I'll take that toolbox and a scraper."
Yeah, he goes, is there any way of getting these stickers off this box? And I was like, well, after you buy it, I'll tell you how to do it. Good old WD-40 took care of that. But
yeah,
actually, I see that guy every once in a while. He had moved out of my area, and I always give him a hard time. So we'll just give you one with a coyote on it. And
there you go.
Close to your
The
heart.
animal's fine. I have no problem with it.
You don't have no problem.
Hey Brian, let us know when you get them though, because you're only 5 hours from me, man. I'm telling you, I'll roll down there real quick.
Yeah.
Now, how big are the boxes? No, do you have the small ones or the big ones? The long ones?
What do you mean?
Well, you know how they have like the longer ones? I don't know how
4F, 6S, or a 6S or a Revel X. Like
That's what
Well, you're talking about what I have?
Yeah.
Or what I have. If I don't have any trade-ins, but the trade-ins I'll have are usually I have a couple. I'll have a 2S and a 4S. Those are 56 inches, 25 deep, and I might be having a 4S 3-bay. That's 72 inches long.
Either one, yeah.
How much would it cost?
You guys have a tool cart that's like 36 inches deep.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. It just it has actually on the money part just comes down to how much I have in it or whatever. I mean, it could vary. It could be anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000. It just depends on how much money I got into it when I had to do the deal. But I'll hook you up. It's all easy payments from here on out.
Yeah.
Hey,
real easy.
Trying to be
Would I have to?
Here.
I would have to keep that Ford sticker on until it's paid off.
Just a couple sips here and a couple sips there, and Mama don't need to know about the credit card hit. It's all right,
Right.
That's terrible.
Yeah, talking about a credit card.
Hell no. You know what? I'm just gonna pay cash. I don't even want to deal with this guy. Let me just pay cash to get we ever met.
I went food shop this morning with my wife, and the people in front of us, younger couple, it didn't look like they had all that much, but the bill was like $400.
Yep.
And the girl's like, I'll put $199 on this card, and then put like $140 on this card. She's like, she had like a stack of credit cards. I was like, talking about, damn, we better not rack up that much. We did. We hit like just almost $290.
It's crazy.
Like, easily.
Food did go. I mean, we were being kind of conservative. Too. It did take a noticeable jump.
And you can't find your usual stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If you can find anything at all.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's super crazy. It's been. I'm dumbfounded every time I go grocery shopping.
But I didn't notice individual prices being stupidly increased, but it obviously added up. They are enough,
Yeah, collectively.
Yeah.
My wife bought a bag of dog food. We used to pay $64 for it. Today it was $84.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dog food.
I mean, and the thing that gets me is everybody, quality of life, and everybody complains about gas prices. Now they're kind of quiet about it. But where's all the the complaining about the food prices and and utility bills and all? Like, that's the real outrage.
Everything.
You got to make some noise, man. We need to make some noise. They got to hear it.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Went and like I said, you can't even. I mean, just running into the grocery store to pick up a few things. Man, you walk out of there $80, and it's like, and that's for dinner tonight. You know, it's like you said, you stop by to pick up a few things.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, $80. This is insane.
The good thing is, like, one of the guys at the shop, the guy that runs the one shop, he's a fisherman. He lives right on the South Shore in Brooklyn. He's on his boat like every day. And he says, now I'm his new buddy. So he's like, look, I'll bring you. So he brought me like 2 big bags of crabs last week. And
wow.
Now he said he was going to be catching like mahi and cod or flounder. And he didn't get it over the weekend because the wind changed or something. So he goes, yeah, when I get it, I'll bring you a mess of fish, man. I'm like, beautiful. You could freeze that stuff.
Freeze that, yeah. You know, what's it called? Yeah.
I love fish. I love it.
Yeah, your boy Coverman stopped by. You can, radio show. You can bring a couple of pieces over in a little igloo cooler.
I'll get all fish, man.
Transfer it right over to my igloo cooler.
You got it.
Easy
transfer. That's my. Oh.
Yeah, that's good stuff there.
That's good. So yeah, I'm waiting for some of that too.
Hey, you know the guy that Robert that came on that's building his car out of wine barrels?
Vino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't tell him or don't show him, but this is his dash I'm working on.
Oh,
nice. Oh, sweet.
Grapes. I love it. That's great.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
I thought it would be.
That's a dashboard you're making, Louis?
Well, I'm making a cover for his dashboard. It's all leather, and I'm tooling it with the grapevines and all that stuff on it.
It's going to be a cover, man.
Yeah, cover.
That's nice. I like that.
Very cool. I'm doing the back piece that goes behind his seats. It like wraps around the seat and then comes up the middle a little bit and then back around his other seat.
Nice.
I'm doing that piece too. Don't tell him. Don't show him.
Louis is becoming quite the welder.
I'm learning. I'm getting learned.
You know, like he's been
That's
hanging
what
out
it
with,
takes.
like I said, Arco makes you believe.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man.
Arco have you building cars in your garage.
Yeah, he don't play, man. He says it like the right way. Like, I could do that. And then, you know what I mean? It's like he really motivates you.
You know, but it's funny. And this is a condition I think probably most of us have or have had at some time. Arco gave me a call yesterday morning. And he had to ask me a question about one of their cars, and he didn't really know what to do. He was kind of confused, and he needed someone to. I said, yeah, what do you got? So he told me. And there was really 2 choices the way I saw it. It was either you got to go talk to somebody and take risk. Maybe I don't want to get too deep because they don't want to mention names, so I don't want to give it away. But so I said, you either got to go talk to a person on the other side and risk a confrontation or maybe a wrinkle in the relationship, or you got to eat it. I said, that's how I see it. And he's like, wow, he goes, you put it so simply. I said, Walker, let me tell you something. I got a bunch of friends. It's kind of I call them my go-to guys. You guys are in there. And my buddy John, Honda John, he called me once, the same thing. And he's frantic. He doesn't know what to do. And he's been working on cars as long as any of us. And it seems so simple. I said, John, what if I called you with that exact same problem? What would you tell me to do? And he just spat out the answer. And I said, well, why don't you take your own advice? That's what we don't do. We always overthink it. And that's what Arco was doing. I said, Arco, what would you do if it was somebody else? And he had the answer. I said, you have the answer. That's right.
Nice.
So we're our own worst enemies sometimes.
It is a blessing to be able to reach out to people on here and find out stuff, you know what I mean? Or get motivated to do stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to hear somebody else confirm what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say,
yeah.
Sometimes you just want to hear that confirmation,
Yeah.
Especially with someone that you have regards for, like high regards.
Very
for.
true.
Right.
Like, says it, like, okay, I know the answer, but I just want to make sure he would do the same thing, I
mean, I've done that. I've been on the fence. I could go this way or that way. What do you think? You poll the group and then you right.
I'm glad I got Roy on here because Roy is the reason Peaches is here.
Okay.
Because I went to Roy. Roy was putting the motor in one of my pickups. and he had a venture. He had a couple of them, right? So I'm looking at him. I'm like, man.
They had 4 or 5 of them at that time.
Yeah. So he starts talking about it. He's like, oh, this bike is blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, man. I was like, I think I know somebody that has one, and his wife won't let him drive it. So I called my buddy, and it was the same bike. And I went over and got it, what, a week later?
Yep.
So that's where Peaches came from. Mess around with Roy.
Nice. Well, let me say what's up to Roy. Hey, Roy, how you doing, man? I'm Terry. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, nice to meet you, buddy.
Nice to meet you.
Roy Bill, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So Terry, Roy he's we went to church together. He lives around the corner from me. He's a good friend. And
long time.
Yeah, he messed around and got me with Peaches. So I'm married to Peaches now because of Roy.
One of the things I like most about Lou is the average person asks you what do you do about this, and the electronics on that bike are they're not simple, right? And I say, well, be careful, don't do this, don't do that. And I get over there, and he's got the entire harness ripped out on the floor.
Yeah.
He's gonna just strip it out and start over. That's what I love about it.
We're going digital.
Dive in. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you got to swing the bat, man.
Yeah. That's right.
Everything's fixable.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Give it a shot.
I was worried for a minute, but she started it up. I was like, okay.
Hey, speaking of that, I'm doing this Holly Sniper conversion on my car.
Woo!
And I hooked up with a guy that I knew at Holly. He gave me great pricing matrix, which would really help. So I just put a big order in, and they sent the partial order. But the fuel sending unit now has the fuel pump on it. And it's kind of interesting because on my A-body, on my Pontiac, it goes in through the back of the tank and faces, the back of the car. And the float is in line. Everything is just going that direction. This one, it goes into the tank and it just makes a right turn. So everything is 90 degrees off. And I'm wondering why. It's like, I don't.
So the pump in the tank is facing the.
I'll show you.
Please.
You got it right there in the basement.
Yeah.
Roy, anything we talk about, Ray has it right there in the basement. We can talk about anything.
Here it is. So this is going to go in the back of the tank. And obviously,
you got what year is your Pontiac? 66?
65.
65. Okay.
So this is now sitting 90 degrees, where in the stock configuration it goes this way. Everything sits in one direction. But now you can see this is 90 degrees out. So they turned it.
Could that be the wrong pump?
The part number checks out. The part number checks out with Holly. I mean, it can work. I've just never seen anybody do it that way. There's no real reason.
So I just want to make sure. So you put that in the front of the tank, like if your tank, let's say I'm putting gas in like right here. This is the gas spout.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the front of the tank right here. That's where that sending unit goes?
The front of the tank facing the front of the car.
Facing the front of the car, right.
Yes, this goes in that wall of the tank.
Wow.
And it turns 90 degrees.
Yeah, doesn't the top of the tank sort of lean back just a little bit where that goes in?
It's kind of vertical.
Yeah.
Would that front of the tank be quite a bit lower than the back side of the tank? I'm just wondering, like fuel slosh.
That's what I'm thinking. When you accelerate, that fuel's going to go to back depending on how much gas you got.
I imagine it's not a baffle tank.
It's not deep enough in the tank. That's kind of what was getting my, I was kind of concerned about that. I can show you.
I can bet there's two different models of that pump, and they sent you the wrong pump. I bet.
Well, I tell you what, Holly, they did their homework, so definitely check and make sure they sent the right pump if there's one of two. But if they say it's going to work, I'm pretty sure it's going to work.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll show you. Now, where is the? Hang on, give me a. Where'd my share screen thing go? Oh, I see it.
Bottom.
Yeah, no, my screen's a little too big. I got to make it small so I can see it. There it is. Share screen. All right, this is the stock sending unit. So the stock sending unit, as you can see, that the round part goes into the tank. Everything goes in one direction toward the back of the car. That's the stock unit.
Okay.
So, like I said, this is 90 degrees out, and where the
I wonder if that new pump improved. They improved it. You know what I mean? By pointing it that way. That could be too.
I guess they could have. This is the back wall.
And that.
This
and
is
that's
where it sits up on the back wall of the tank. Way up
okay.
top.
Now. Okay. Gotcha.
Straight in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, all right. Maybe I'll give him a call again.
Let me
Had to
see
call
that
them
pump
anyway.
again, Frank.
They sent the
Frank,
pump.
can I see that? So that's the pump sending
This is the
unit,
pump.
right?
Yeah, this is the rheostat here. This is the float.
Yeah.
Okay.
The regulator.
Turns right.
And it's just turned 90 degrees.
And your other one goes straight.
And then we'll go straight back.
I guess it'll probably sit like this. It'll probably sit down.
I'm thinking it's going to sit down like that in that pump, in that tank. I think it's
That
going to
way the
sit down
pump
like
is
that.
low, but the float is only that low too. I don't know. I think I'm going to put this in first because I can put this in without doing anything else and see if it works.
And definitely test out that sending unit. I mean, depending on how much gas you got, wherever that float is, because sometimes you might have to bend that float to make sure it reads right.
Well, I did watch it. I found the purple wire in the weather pack goes right to the stock, to the gauge. So I can just, I'll put an ohmmeter on it and check it and see if it's make sure it
reading
sends
12
correct.
or 14 or whatever it is.
It's 90 ohms, 0 to 90 ohm is the rating. So, all right, just uncharted territory.
So now I want to make sure. So you're not going Terminator. You're going. Which setup are you going with, Holly?
Sniper.
I'll show you.
Yeah, the sniper.
It's right next to him. We got to go back and count how many times he's grabbed stuff.
You do like the best of Ray videos. You know, like I'll be right
There we
back.
go.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Okay.
In black too.
Sniper.
Well,
Ooh.
wait a minute. I got two of them.
Because he's cooler than we are.
I got two carburetors on the car, so I got to put two of something back on. So, and I was very lucky, very happy that they came in black.
Yeah.
I got.
Oh, you got two carbs on your car?
Yeah, 2 4-barrels.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
right.
bet that thing runs pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. You
Bet so.
wait till you put that thing on and get it dialed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once it learns itself.
Yeah, wait.
They run really good. They do run really good.
Yeah, you're gonna like it, for Ray.
Oh yeah. No, I'm really anxious to to
When are you gonna start putting it on?
I got a show I got to go to this weekend, and I guess after that, anything is fair game. I can just kind of start whenever I want.
You can wait until the winter too, because when your car's locked down.
Right.
The only thing that sucks about that is once you get it up and going, you want to take that car out.
Yeah.
Luckily,
like
those things aren't too
get
bad to
something on
install.
Christmas and gotta wait until the snow melts.
Yeah, that's what I get a bicycle for Christmas up in the north. I didn't care. I was out there. I didn't care.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, fellas, it's that time. I'm about to go and get me something to eat, and go to bed. Well, that's actually no. Maybe it's going to drink. I can't. I gotta trim it down before Sema.
You know what, Terry? Yeah, I'll tell you. We'll give you one more. That's what's under the hood.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, boy. Yeah. And you know what? That Holly's going to clean that up really nice.
Those are vintage 1976 Cal Custom valve covers. I have the rear end cover to match.
Wow.
And I black wrinkled them because I love black wrinkle. So
don't think we don't see the Global West control arm sitting in there.
those are actually, they are Global West. As a matter of fact, you're right.
Yeah,
upper lowers, and I did their sway bar and fully adjustable rears. Yeah, the car handles. I tell you, it it makes right turns. I love on and off ramps. It's like
Now, it made a world of difference over the stock control arms. No,
I haven't driven an A body that handles like that. It really is just totally flat. If they put negative camber into those control arms,
yes,
I'm running a 245 40 17 tire on it, so there's a lot of rubber. It just
but also it's a collaboration of that like you're getting rid of that 14, 15-inch wheel, and also doing the control arm. So that it's all those playing in effect. Also depending on the sidewall thickness or should I say flex of the sidewall, that also changes stuff around too.
Now, on the rear, I'm running 275 50s on the rear. So that's a taller sidewall. So it's got a good look. And I remember talking to them, and I said, "Hey, wait a minute! I'm going through the parts and everything." I said, "Oh, we got to order one more thing." They're like, "What?" I said, "I was talking to what's his name, Ray. He's the president of the company." I said, "No rear sway bar. You didn't sell me a rear sway bar." He goes,
need it.
"No." He says, "You don't need one." I'm like, "What A body doesn't need a rear sway bar? Come on!" I always have. He says, "If you use our components and set them up the way that and follow our alignment specs." If you need a sway bar, you call me back because I'll fly to your house and I want to drive that car and I want to see what you did wrong. And I said, okay. And I swear, I'm driving this car. I cannot. I did a whole shot last week next to a guy, and as soon as I did it, I was like, "Oh shit, that's stupid." But like he was on his line lock, and I just dumped the clutch and just went straight, just pulled straight out. It was like literally just launched. And I said,
they say you don't need a sway bar with that, but you know what? I mean. I gotta have a sway bar. It just looks so much better.
I got you. But I tell you,
I'm thinking about the people that are looking at me when I blow past them.
You know what? They're looking at my Finn black wrinkle rear end cover.
Yeah, they're like, man, I lost the race, but Jesus, that car looks nice.
I know. And the only other thing that I rounded out with was a QA1 shocks. Put a full house of QA1s under there, and nice.
And QA1 knows what they're doing.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Now let me ask you something. You got coilovers on? Did you get coilovers or just the? Okay, so did you get a lowering spring?
Yes.
Okay.
The whole car is lower. It's
right there.
I'm using not spindles, but the control arms give you a drop in the front of an inch.
Yes.
And the car is. Let's see if I can. I don't even know if I have a recent. I think I only have a recent picture on my. Oh wait, no, I think I do. Let me see. Hold on a second.
Hey, I want you guys to understand that if I get this El Camino off Arco, all your old parts come to Ohio.
I got you covered, man.
I'll be in the family, the G-Body family.
I'll probably have some parts for you.
All right.
Yeah, we get some.
I'm a poor bus driver.
What year El Camino?
Yeah.
68.
Oh, second gen. I don't know. I always wondered about that. Now, 68, would that be the second or third gen? Because some people say, because some people say 64, 65 is the first gen, 66, 67 is the second gen. I think 64 to 67 is the first gen.
No, it's the second because they came out in
59.
59, yeah.
Right.
A Chevelle, an Impala? No, Chevelle?
No, the El Camino.
El Camino.
Oh, no,
No,
I'm sorry. I'm
Camino.
thinking just Chevelle. I'm thinking just that Chevelle,
the front end.
Pontiac Le Mans, Tempest, all that stuff.
Terry, this is how the car sits as of right now.
See, that's nice.
Oh yeah.
Well, look at that next to it.
Yeah, no, that's my new buddy. I see him at the cruise night. Tom, that's cool. He's got a stroke 302 in that thing, fender wells. So we were cruising together and raising all sorts of mayhem on the street.
How does that car handle? It doesn't. It can't.
Yeah.
Gassers are a funny thing. It all depends how you set them up. And he's just a local cruiser. He hasn't really got. But I got a buddy who has a couple of gasser Corvettes that I've driven. And this guy knows how to set up an I-beam. And I'm going to tap him when I do my Nomad because I want to do that as a gasser. But yeah, my car is lower. It's just sitting on 17s.
That's good.
That's nice. I
Looks
like the way
good.
it
Yeah,
sits.
really good.
Thank you. But that's yeah, it rides good. And I tell you, when you buy the right stuff, you buy the right components and you do your homework, you get what you pay for. You really do.
Wait a second, hold on. You said you're gonna make a gas out of a Nomad?
Yes.
Why? Why?
Because I have the Nomad. It's been a street racer since we got the car in our circle in 1972. It's always been a street racer. It needs a total everything. It needs floors. It needs everything. And I got a friend dropped me a straight front end. I got a big block Chevy. I got a tunnel ram. And you set of fender wells. I got a set of 88. I got an M22. I got all the right stuff. So,
and what year, pray tell, is this Nomad?
It's
55.
It's not this year.
Okay. Okay, good.
55. Yeah, it's a 55.
All right, cool.
So you don't mind if it's cut up, right?
No, I don't mind that well. Well, actually, I think the 55 is out of the three. I think the 55 Nomad is the better looking one out of the three.
Now, don't be changing the stuff around.
Yeah, how do you say that? How do you come across with that? Because I vary when I see certain 56s, I say, damn, that's a good looking car.
Oh no, all of them are good looking. All of them are good looking. But when it comes to the 210, 56s, that's it. That's it for me. I don't want to hear about 57.
I've seen it.
When it comes to the Nomad, then that 55 Nomad kind of looks kind of nice. I give it to the 55 Nomad. A 66 is close after it. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, like if one's a 10, the 56 is like a 9.5. Maybe
the taillights are too big on the 56. The 50, they're just smaller, and it kind of it's a svelte body. It's flat. It doesn't have a lot going on. What do you got, Brian? Oh, you got the car. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I think the problem is with the 55? The problem with the 55 is it's got a nice front end. I do like 56 a little bit better. 55, the tail end, because the wheel wells are kind of like square.
Right.
All right. Where the 56, it kind of goes almost like a half teardrop.
Right. And the Nomads are round. Right. They're round.
Right. Exactly. So that's what gets it for me on the Nomad.
And that's why everybody cuts the wheel wells on a 55. To make it more like a Nomad, you can put a bigger tire in there.
Yeah, but it doesn't look right.
If they do it right, if they'll put a lip on it, then it looks good.
See, but you wouldn't have to have that problem. You just got a 56.
Well, it's like the Impalas, the late model Impalas. My Impala has rounded wheel wells, but the Caprices had that half a wheel well that kind of looked kind of frumpy.
Yeah,
terrible. Open that wheel well up, man, and it made all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you just got the right year, you wouldn't have to go through all that trouble.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
Hey, sometimes you got to go with what you got.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is, and what you can get, what you get your hands on, because like some of those cars are just untouchable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on that note,
all right.
Go ahead. You know what?
I seen a 57 the other day, and I'm really starting not to like the 57. The 56, man, is smooth and rounded, and I just like the 56 better.
Well, now if you want to say that, the 55 is really rounded. It's like look at the head, look at the eyebrows. The 55 has rounded eyebrows. The 56s are flatter.
Yeah.
So there's subtle differences in the cars. Like each
But
year,
the 56 just looks so beautiful.
And that's it.
Yeah, I took this 55.
Oh, here we go with this guy.
Okay. I took this 55 and I'm stripping it down. Here another one, and I want to do. Remember the model Badman, the yellow one?
Of course, yeah. The yellow.
This is. I want to make my own version of that.
Okay.
Brian, you got a bad man behind you on the other side of your cabinet there. You got to be working on.
Oh, I know. Well, this is the tedious things to keep me focused that direction.
Right, poetry.
Well, it's like I said before. So we all in agreement that the 56 Bel Air is a better looking car. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I have gone on record as saying I think the 56 Bel Air trim. I like the trim a lot. The way that the side trim goes.
And you can't have the trim if you don't have the car. So 56 is a better looking car. Okay, I understand.
Hey, have you ever? How do you guys like the 58 front end?
I've always liked 58s.
That's a beautiful car, man. That's thing.
You want a nice one.
now we're getting big. Now the cars.
That's a big car. Yep.
Right.
Yep. That's a
58.
big
That's a
car.
big car.
It's
Very hard.
big.
I would rather have a 58 Buick instead of a 58 Chevy.
I'll tell you though,
my
very
buddy's got
hard
one.
to get parts for, and now they have the X chassis, which is kind of.
Yep.
But my beautiful car. I love the Impala, 58 Impala.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, before I took a 57 Chevy, I would take a 57 Olds. I would take a 57 Olds.
The Olds
With
are
the
really
windows
nice.
in the back, I would take that in a second. That was an 88, a Rocket, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
That I would take an
We-
88.
We had one
I took a
in the
57
shop a
Chevy.
while back. It
Yeah.
showed up. It showed up while I wasn't even there. And at first, I was like, "What is this car? Why is it not mine?" Those things are so cool.
They got the spine going all the way down there.
Yes.
It's just a beautiful
Yes.
car.
Beautiful.
That I would
the
take over
point with
57.
designing
You
cars.
put that in the equation, that might be in 56 land.
All right, Terry, you got to hit Rory with the famous question.
Huh?
All right, yeah, let's go, Roy. Yeah, that's right. Well, and then like this, Roy. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
All right, vision. Okay, now here we go. We're gonna jazz the question up a little. You got a 55, 56, 57 Chevy, right?
Right.
All the same color, all the same with the trim package, every black with white stripes, or what, not white stripe, but whatever color you can imagine. White with the black with the blue bottom or red bottom, whatever
Salmon.
color you can imagine.
Salmon
They're all
and
the
silver.
same. They're all the same.
Yeah.
All right. Thick, all of them are the same, automatics, whatever you like. These cars are all the same. 55, 56, 57 Bel Air. Sitting right there. Right? All of them have the keys in them. And they say you can get one of them and take off with the car. What year are you jumping in?
57.
Good night, gentlemen.
All right.
This conversation.
Rounding out the field. Rounding out the field. Nice, Brian.
It's
You
always
got
been my
gold.
favorite car.
Nice, Brian.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
Roy,
so-
you're
Can't help it.
Yeah, my brother's
You
got
can't help it,
257 Nomads.
when you want to
Here's,
jump in the
here's
50,
the
yeah,
Nomad,
now
here's the Nomad.
Nomad. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And Rich
55, yeah.
Rich GT 30R, he said 350R, he says 57. Rich,
Okay.
I
Not-
gotta accept the
not-
fact that there are 57 heads out there.
Not
Yeah.
everybody can be right, Terry.
Thank you very much. Let's see. A leg 55, 56 is the year. Let's face it. But
I
we all
can't-
agree that that's a better looking car. I understand.
I
So
can't
that's-
decide. I was lying.
Oh man.
This,
Hey,
Oh,
Rich,
No.
Rich, I'm going to reach out to you this week. I've been real busy, but I'm going to reach out to you.
Oh, he's a Ford guy and he admits it? What is that all about?
There ain't no problem with that, Terry. Come on now.
It's all in the name, GT.
Yeah.
I will never have a Ford. Well, I got one. I can't lie. I got a Lincoln Mark 8, so.
That's and a Lincoln too. Nice.
Yeah.
Mark series, man. There we go.
I can't get
I'll
rid of
roll
that
with
car. I love that car.
I'll roll with you.
Hey, guys,
Mine's a
I'm
little
going to
older,
jump
but
off, but you guys can
Yeah.
stay on the after party with Ray.
All right.
And
Lewis.
listen, on September 22nd is going to be our anniversary get together. So I've been reaching out to a lot of our previous guests. So some of them are saying they're going to come through. So start telling people the 22nd we're going to have a jump off.
Who's making a cake?
I don't know. I just said the wife make us a cake.
All right, good. You gotta make a cake.
But this is our 8th year doing planning traffic, so we're gonna have a little get together with some of the people that's been on.
Proves we're persistent.
Yep.
Why don't we
Hey,
have a party at your house, Lewis?
Hey, we can. I got a bus, man. I come get everybody.
Yeah.
Swing
Party
through.
bus.
It's
Lewis is
gonna be
We ain't
$5
far.
gas.
we ain't far.
All right,
Well, you know
fellas,
what? I'm about to take off too, but I'm about to take off myself. But before I do, I want you guys to know something. Even the guys in the chat room, I'm a little disappointed in you guys for picking 57.
Nah.
But
just a little.
That's all right.
Hey, if you take the 56 and Roy takes the 57, I'll be happy to have the 55.
There you go.
Don't get me wrong. I'll jump in what's ever left. You know? At this point, they could be like, "Yeah, we got a 54 that the judges left." Like I jump in that. I don't care.
Hey, if we get a 58, we can all fit in it.
There we go.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, man.
A 58 wagon, man, a yeoman's
Love-
wagon.
Love
A
a
yeoman,
58.
even a yeoman. I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeoman
That's a-
wagon.
My buddy's got a 58 Buick Special.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
Super
Oh,
cool
yeah.
car.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right, guys, I'll
I
see you next
really
week.
like that 57.
Okay.
What's it called 88. That's just a
58
beautiful
Buick is
car.
98% chrome.
Yeah. Actually,
It's
my
so-
friend of mine back in high school had a 58 Olds convertible. It was, I guess, a 98 convertible. It had
Yeah.
like it looked like the music, like music lines on the side. All it needed was a G clef. I think it is the car known to have the most amount of chrome in history. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it had a
Oh, Keith Gill said 54 is the best. 54 Bel Air. You see that? Keith Gill says a 54 Bel Air is the best.
Well,
I'll take it.
a 54
You
is a
know,
real
I mean-
popular Cholo car. They use those in the barrio. That's a real popular, that's an East LA cruiser.
But, 54, that's the forgotten child. They said 56 is a stepchild, but I mean, 54 is the one that really started it. And 53, but see, that was back when they were building cars because every year looked a little different.
Everything
it looked like
changed,
they put
yeah.
like 5 and 6
Yep.
years of the same car,
See, that's the thing. You can look at the 53 and 54 and see where the 5 and 6 came from. The 57 was
100%.
like from outer space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really changed. But so there was a lineage there for 4 years. But we used to have one when I was a kid, and it was like this Hershey's chocolate brown. I used to call it the chocolate car. And we were always glad you lay up in the back deck lid, when you cruise it around.
Wow. Well, on that note, I'm about to head off myself. Gentlemen, until next week, y'all be easy.
Terry?
Hey, Terry?
We still love you, Terry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. I admitted to having a Mustang, Ford, not a Mustang. Oh my God, bite my tongue. I go.
Come on down, Terry. Spend
Ain't
a
happening.
weekend. It's all right.
Never.
I'll treat you
Mustangs
right.
for me.
Don't worry.
No Mustangs for me.
Look, he's got toolboxes.
Yeah, come on down.
I might have to get one. I'm serious.
We'll take you for a ride in the tool truck. Don't worry.
Will there be ice cream? Have a good night, gentlemen.
See
You
you.
too, Terry.
Oreo cookies.
The official cookie.
Brian, I got to tell you, speaking of that, just this afternoon, I was coming home and I was a Matco truck pulled out from the curb, and he was in front of me. I was in the right lane. I'm in the left lane. All right, so I'm pacing the truck, and then he turned off into a shop. And I tell you, man, that truck. Whoa, I was like, damn, that's what Brian's talking about,
Dude.
I thought he was gonna roll that sucker.
Man, I tell you, and today of all days, but today, actually, I gotta go out and look and see what I'm gonna do. But it's gotten so flexy, or it's gotten somewhere along the line, the latch adjustment on the door has moved or something. So now I come rolling up and I get this all the time because the side doors popped open on the truck, it slides back, and I'm like, God,
You got to bungee it from the inside.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I tell you, that truck is a pain. Never had the problem with my other door, but so I got there and I think I can tweak the adjustment on it. If not, I was just looking at some automatic locks, the ones with a button clicker.
Right.
And just have to, it's a pain in the ass locking it by key. Sure. Well, I know it's going to happen because on my old truck, that's eventually what happened. Using the key to lock it all the time. I don't know how many locks I put in the damn truck. You wear out the lock, yeah. You wear out the lock, because you figure every stop, you got 20, 30 stops a day, and in and out with the key in there.
Yeah, dual electric.
Yeah. So
what's up, Isaac?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Isaac, how are you?
I'm doing good. Got to the party late. I was hoping to make it in time to say hi to Terry and meet him, but
oh shit, okay. Well,
no,
you hit
it's
the
all
after
right.
party, so
Yeah,
you hit the
no,
after party.
yeah, I got stuck at the school for a little bit, and then I was rushing home, and my wife said, "Did you stop at the store?" And I was like,
Yeah, sure did.
It was closed. It was a flood.
She said, "So you're saying I gotta go?" And I'm like, "No, I'll go."
So I got to tell you guys again.
Yes, sir.
It was round two on the flatbed with the brakes.
Yeah,
and
saw the picture.
Yeah, I got to put the new ones up. What happened was the line that goes across the rear end, you know, it rusted, but I'll tell you the fittings where they went into both hoses. I guess the truck had like an undercoat on it or something, so it was kind of a black coating on there. And I got the line wrench on there, and you know, squirted it and all the fittings unscrewed eventually, which was like, you know, why is it wrong going to totally replace the line? Nothing breaks. Like that's the time you want it to break. You know. Yep. So of course I couldn't loosen the bleeders on the calipers, and I'm under the truck, and I'm looking at the right rear wheels. I'm like, okay, that caliper face is back. So I'm using my inductor tool to heat up the bleeder. There's definitely a procedure to doing that because you can blow up that brake fluid real easy.
Yeah.
But then I look on the left side and I don't see a caliper. And I mean, not being a truck mechanic, it was around the front side of the brake. I'm like, wow, why did they stagger the calipers? I have no idea. I'm very curious about that. So same thing, got that loose. Put the line in, and I used the Bendaflex. Used a 40-inch piece of Bendaflex, laid it up. It was a little bit longer than it needed to be. I really needed like 36 inches, but you know that's what they had. And do a bleed, you know, a bleed through a one-way valve. Okay, get brakes, beautiful. Start the truck, and got like 2 pumps of the brake pedal, and then all of a sudden, boom, the pedal's back to the floor. And I look underneath, and I see, and you know, it's pissing out right where it came out of the hose on the left side, went into a hard line. It broke right there. Because of course, now you start chasing the problem down the line. So last night I took that out, and I found if I went under the truck in front of the left rear wheel, like right where the mud flap is, and then the gas tank is the next thing in line. But if on the creeper, I went between the wheel and the mud flaps straight in, I could actually sit up, literally sit up like I'm sitting now under the truck and work on the line on the chassis. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. I think I hit my head on the drive shaft about 12 times, but so I had to cut the line and figure out where to put a union in, and of course I needed one fitting, so I had to wait till today. Put it together, and of course I had to flare an end of it under the truck. It ended up one of the unions had a leak. I couldn't get it to stop leaking, so I finally ripped it all out, bent a new piece of line, one piece with one union instead of 2. When I get home, I'm looking up at that Eastwood automatic flaring tool again, because I have it on sale for $249 now.
Yeah.
But my thought was, man, every time I demo on this, mounted in a vise, and I'm thinking, can I use that under the vehicle? You know, I had enough trouble with my regular flaring tool because, of course, you're coated with brake fluid and, you know, it's all slippery. I'm thinking, I don't think I can use that in tires. And the guy in the video said, you know, the only thing you can't do is use this under the vehicle. I'm like, all right. But they came out with another one. It's a smaller tool with one die, and it only does 3/16 line. So I would have been out because this had a 1/4-inch line. But for everything else, all the cars.
That was where is it?
I don't know. But this one, it does just the 3/16 line. That's looking like something you could use under the car, because it seems like whenever I got to do a repair, it's on a chassis, or you know, you're splicing in a line. So, but I swear, Brian, I yelled your name a few times because, you know, you're always in a weird position, and your arms over your head, and you're moving those damn fittings. You got to turn them like 100 times and keep taking. I said, I want ratcheting line wrenches. Damn it, ratcheting line wrenches. Why don't they have a good set of ratcheting line wrenches?
Those
what a pain in the ass.
Where is that?
Do you have one of those?
Probably.
Yeah, right.
You do. You know what you're gonna do with it.
Actually,
Right in the
I know
box.
I have one. I know I have one. I think I have. I have to look on the tool truck because there's one that has 3/16. I don't know if it goes up to a. It's got 3 different sizes and it's for inline. It's on the vehicle.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, forget about it. Just go get it right now.
Here, hold on.
Put it right in the box.
No, hold on.
I will. Let's see if I can pull this up. I'll.
See, they were saying that about making a compilation of you, Ray, getting up and moving, and I was thinking, yeah, but what about Brian? He's constantly.
Oh, I know.
I know. Too.
Right. Tools and shop equipment. I'm gonna find this thing. Brake bleeder. Well, that's the funny thing because I bought that the ramp lift, and moving that thing around over the weekend. I pulled something in my back, and I was like having back spasms. I mean, like you just get up and you get a spasm, it just drops you like right to the floor. I'm like, oh man, that sucks. And when you're walking out, but working on this truck, I was in and out of that under that thing like 40 times on this stupid creeper, and I realized like my back doesn't hurt. It totally went away as I was working, and I said, that's really wild. I thought I was complaining, but
sometimes it's not till the next day.
Well, that's how the spasm. I was doing something over the weekend, and now I got it 3 days later. But now working on a truck actually helped. It helped a lot.
There is, I had hurt my back a few years back, like I think it was 2019. It was right before my dad passed, and I went to go see him, and he had slid down or whatnot on the bed, and I went to lift, and I didn't position myself correctly, and I didn't feel nothing, didn't feel anything pop, and the next day I couldn't even move. And my brother was telling me, he goes, I've got an exercise that'll work. He goes, it is gonna hurt, but he goes, it works. And you basically get on the floor, lay on your belly, and you lift up on your from your hands, like lifting up your chest, almost like a push-up.
Yeah.
Keep your waist and everything planted to the ground, and you go as much as you can. You don't, don't really push it, but
which is about 2 inches.
Yeah. But hey, it hurt like hell. Not necessarily in a bad way. I mean, if it's a bad hurt, stop. But it was uncomfortable. It hurt, but sure enough, it worked.
That's actually the yoga position.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
And I'll tell you something. When I go to bed at night, I'm in the habit. I lay on my side, and I do that on my side. I just flex my back as far as I can, just to do that stretch, and then relax it easy, and it feels good. It really does feel good.
Another thing, check this out. I don't see if you can see this picture.
Arnica what? What is that?
It's Arnica de Abuela. It is an ointment. You can get it on Amazon, and it's got to, like I found, it's got to be in the green tin because it's a lot more pure. Around here, I don't know about up there, but around here you can go to a grocery store, Walgreens, or Walmart, and they have what's called Arnicare, but it's diluted and it's mixed with other stuff. But this Arnica, it's an ointment. It's not like icy hot or anything like that. Like it doesn't have like heat to it, but it gets deep in, and like deep bruises, stuff like that. I try to get my football players to, if they're banged up, hey, have your parents get this. I've used it on my kids. I will. I'll text it to you. But yeah, it works. I've even used it on broken bones.
Wow.
And it's shortened the time of the healing.
That's cool.
I swear by You know, one of the other guys I coached with before, he teases me. He's like, there goes Coach Isaac talking about arnica. He puts it on his Wheaties.
Hey, if it works, you know, my sister-in-law gave me a few years ago this cream. It's like horse cream or something. They use it on horses, and I've used it on my arthritis. I've used it, and then, damn, the stuff actually works. You know,
Yeah,
it's like it's strong stuff.
Yeah, I'll text that to you.
All right, you find it, Brian.
Yeah. So basically, you have.
There you go. That's looking right.
And here's for a 1/4 inch.
Okay.
This would go on the line
right
that you're making.
Right.
And then you would have your.
That's the okay.
That's the flaring.
First flare, right?
Yeah, and that's going to go. That's going to go in like that.
Right.
Then you have.
Right. There you go. The anvil. Yeah.
And then that goes in. That threads on.
That out, you make the second flare.
Right.
So let me show you this. Let's see if this will work. Let's see. Oh shit! It isn't going to do it.
Oh, this was in backwards. Because this would see this. So you have your line coming through, and you're going to have your die in, and then when you tighten that up,
makes the form.
Right. You screw that
All
in,
right.
and then when you tighten that up.
How about that?
Yeah, that's very. Yeah, that right there is the older kit. I have. That was like 10 years ago. We sold those.
Okay, that's what Eastwood has now, and it's
Right, and then we went to this style because this had more fittings.
So that has 3/16 and 1/4.
This goes 3/16 up to 3/8.
Up to 3/8. So it's 3/16, 1/4, 3/8.
It's got 3/8, 4.75.
Oh.
4.75 bubble flare.
Bubble, yeah.
1/4, 6 bubble, 5/16, 8 millimeter bubble, and 3/8.
Well, you know what you can do with that, don't you? I tell you, I'm going to be broke. It's going to be like Christmas, though, because when I go through this box, I don't even know what the hell's in there anymore.
I know. I need to send you the box.
I was telling my wife the other day, we were talking about this. I said, one day this box is going to show up. I said, and I'm going to be like a kid at Christmas because I've been adding shit in that box for months already.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell's in there.
Actually, I meant to ask Lewis on the Thunderbird lights. I finally found all that stuff.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but this works. Like I said, the only this is great. Like when you're on the vehicle making the line and so forth, you just have to keep the inside of these dies free of any of the previous line before you, because this will slide around. I usually tell guys when you get done to take a wire toothbrush, a small wire brush, and clean out the thread, because that's usually a problem, because they all say, oh, this thing keeps sliding on me, and I look in there and take it apart, and I'm like, yeah, you got to clean out, because especially like that nickel
the Cooper nickel stuff.
The Cooper nickel stuff will really come off, and then they try to use it on a stainless steel line, which is so damn hard.
Oh yeah.
That it has that. I usually, and of course, I tell a lot of guys when you're doing stainless steel work, you got to have a torch, a propane. To heat it up a little bit, and that helps with the stainless steel, so you're not, you don't crack it or whatever. You just got to heat it up a little bit.
It was funny. They called. I needed the Bendaflex for the rear end yesterday, so he calls AutoZone. Took this guy an hour and a half to deliver one piece of brake line. I'm like, I could have walked there and got it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So today on the way in, I just stopped at the store and I got what I needed. But I told the guy, now I'm talking to the guy who runs the commercial parts desk, and he's the head guy. And I said, I need some unions. I want to get some 3/16ths, and it's actually 7/16ths that'll go on the 1/4 inch line. I said, and he looked at me, he says, I don't really know the brake stuff. I'm like, what? So I said, well, you want, how can I explain this to you? He goes, well, you know what you need? He goes, come around the side, go in the back. I'm like, dude, that's exactly what I wanted to do. I said, I used to be a parts guy and I know what I'm looking for. I went in the back, the guy came with me and I said, you guys have everything that I need, that when we call, you say you don't know that you don't have it. I said, you have all the adapters, all the fittings, 3 different types of brake line. You got it all. The only thing I wish they would make would be a piece of brake line that had a male on one side and a female fitting on the other. If you had to attach 2 lines, this way you wouldn't have to use the union. I just wish somebody would come out with that. But I said, you guys got everything here. This is exactly what I need. I want to take all this and bring it to the shop and just like hang it on the wall somewhere. So
hey, Brian.
It's amazing. The guy just doesn't even know what he has.
I was curious. You were saying on the cleaning it to use a wire toothbrush. Whose teeth are you brushing with that thing?
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't let that one go. I heard it.
Yeah, no. I don't know.
So, Brian, does that come in a nice little blow molded case and everything?
Yes, it does. To take up more room in your toolbox.
Well, I don't. I'm already putting stuff on top of my toolbox, and then I put. I don't have room in the toolbox. That's out of the question.
I thought that I had that old the one that Eastwood, one that Eastwood's selling. I thought I still had one of those. That was like the very first one that we had.
Yeah.
That we were selling, and it came in a little bag.
I tell you something.
But this is the one that that's the mold. See, that's the mold below it right there, Ray.
Nice. That's good. That's nice. Keep it all together. I got to tell you, I was gonna send you a text today because I got a notification from Matco, and this time it was like sale tools, and I saw things. Did you forget? Did you need to make a payment today? Like, no. And when I opened it, it had contact your dealer. Brian McKinney had your phone number. It said give him a call or text them. So I was just going to text you and say, hey, they told me to text you. What do you want?
That's it, man. I don't know. That stuff's so crazy.
At least now it's working again. So
yeah. And this was the very first set of that one that I showed you, but it was only 3/16 and is that 6 millimeter or 8 millimeter? That was the first version. It was only the 3.
Yeah. No, it's funny. It's like doing anything else. You do a lot of wrenching, you find out you need different wrench sets. You need ratchet wrench, you need stubbies, you need this, you need that. You're doing brake work, I have a bag, a big honking bag with all my bleeding stuff in it. And I carry another bag with the flaring stuff in it. So it's like, I'm going to be like mobile repair one of these days.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. And like I said, I have the hydraulic, the hydraulic flaring one.
Yeah.
And that's an awesome tool. But like I said, there are a few times you're limited in the space that you got to get into.
Right.
And doing it. And like I said, if you can, if you're outside from the vehicle and you can bend it all, do it all up.
Well, that was the beauty, because when I took the lines out and I could flare them outside the vehicle. I'm working on the flatbed. So I went to the back of the truck and I sat on the guess the receiver, the hitch, the toe thing,
the
bar that comes out. And as I was sitting on that, I was just working on the bed of the truck. So it was like having a workbench. I'm like, this is really cool.
I've gotten super spoiled because I've used the tool truck for that. You know, the lift gate on the tool truck. And you know, it's like I said, working on the riding lawnmower, man. I backed John Deere up on that thing and raise it up, and I've used the lift gate because it's aluminum. You know, it's aluminum body, or the lift gate's aluminum. I've used it for a welding table. You know, I've laid my frames up there, and you know, just you put it at the right height, sit there, and just weld away. It's a hell of a tool. You know, using it that way.
So back to my other malady. Like I said, I was screaming like, ratcheting freaking line wrenches, guys. Come on. You know, making all those, I mean, you know, my wrist was hurting. Turning that damn thing, you know? It's like
I had a guy yesterday. What was it? Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. He asked for a pair, and I you know, I said I can get them, dude, but they're not. He said, "Go ahead." I know it's going to be. I should have just said no.
So let me ask you: have you used them yourself?
Yeah.
And what is it you don't like?
Well, the problem is, and Ray, you might be okay. Actually, I might send you one, and you tell me. But the problem is 90. I don't know if I can go 99, but you know, 90% of the guys will grab that ratcheting wrench and just try to break the wrench loose. I mean, try to break the fitting loose.
Look, I'm the guy that takes the breaker bar in the socket and loosens the lug nuts first before I put the gun on them.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's why I'm saying, you know, but you know, like I said, I constantly have those guys. And again, it's like, dude, this isn't meant to loosen the Titan object, you know, and of course, you know, they're also the guy that, you know, instead of like number one of diagnosing, they're the one that jumps to 5.
Right.
And then when it's just a loose battery terminal.
You mean they don't disconnect the negative battery terminal first?
Yeah. And then, you know, and then of course, when it's the loose battery cable, after hanging about $7,000 worth of parts on the car, and they say, "Oh, I guess I should have checked that first." That's, you know, it's the.
I just looked. Outside right now, it's 66.2 degrees.
Yeah, we're at 66 here.
Yeah,
it's nice.
So yeah, you know, it's just the tedium of working that, because especially if you have the longer fitting, it's just that tedium of working it, especially when you're in a weird position.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, already, come on.
I had a guy today. He was, I don't know what it was. I think it was a van, but he was the aftermarket motor mounts didn't line up right. So he was going to drill the hole, you know, drill the holes bigger, you know.
Right.
And I'm standing there, and of course, what does he do? He goes and gets the biggest drill, you know, the biggest drill bit out of the set, and he chocks it in the thing, and he starts it and puts, you know, I'm surprised he didn't break his wrist, because, you know, the thing grabbed and threw him around. And I'm like, dude, this is the way we do this, you know? And he's looking at me like, and I'm like, you know, this is how you know, and again, I'm just like, this is why, you know, things like that break. Or like I said, he's lucky he didn't break his wrist when that thing.
I was just talking to a friend about this, and I really think it goes back to the beginning, how you were trained. And don't get me wrong, I was not classically trained as a kid. As a kid, I was banging nails with to hold my axle on my go-kart. But along the line, wherever I could learn from an older guys or had training, I took it. And then I read and I learned the right way of doing things and procedure. And, you know, like with drilling, you go up in series. You use this, you use bits, maybe jump every other size, and yeah, it seems like you're wasting time, but what you're doing is not breaking your wrist.
Yeah.
Or breaking your drill bit.
Well, I had actually a couple guys, when I on my Instagram page when I showed about cleaning the my bearing plate, filing it, after use and so forth. I can't tell you how many guys they would bring that to me and want me to warranty it,
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this is part of servicing your tool. You got to service this tool. You got to. He goes, well, it won't cut up underneath, or I said, because you have to put the edge back on. I mean, this is, here, and I had a couple guys. Actually, I guess, I have 4 or 5 videos. I really need to put them on my YouTube, but maybe I should do that again and show. But the reason why I did that was because I took the 9-inch apart. The bearings on the third member, I pulled all the pen, I got all that stuff pulled apart. Right. And after I got done using it, I just clean it up. You put it away. It's all put back in the box and it's ready for the next.
Speaking of drilling, when I was working with the shop owner's son, who now runs the business, and I was kind of helping him with a lot of techniques, and he was buying buying new tools. He was spending money, and of course, he bought the Snap-on drill bits and he bought the Snap-on tap set. And I said, "What are you doing, dude? These are the things you don't have to buy from Snap-on, because there's plenty of manufacturers that make this stuff for a living." That I said, I got taps that are 45 years old that I'm still using.
Yeah,
and I brought in. I got a drill bit set that I bought in the 80s, and he says, "How do you still have all the drills?" I'm like, "Well, occasionally one will break, you replace it." I said, "Because I sharpen them. I know how to sharpen a drill." He goes, "Well, how'd you learn that?" I'm like, "I learned it when I worked in a machine shop." I said, "You want me to show you how to do it?" "I'll show you." I said, "It's not hard. It's not rocket science." I said, "And the first time you whittle one down like a pencil in the sharpener, enough, all right, then you buy it. You buy another one and start again. But it's not hard to do." And I said, "You just got to follow good practice and slow down once in a while. Take your time."
When I cleaned and sharpened up the for the plate.
All right, for your bearing press, yeah, sure.
For the bearing press, and
for the bearing separator, yeah. The separator.
Yep, and I can't tell you. It's like how many times I watch a guy with air tool bits.
Oh yeah.
The air tool bits are the same thing, and of course they go over to the grinder, and they grind. And I'm like, no, dude, all you gotta do is take a file or sharpening a putty knife. Everybody wants to lay a 45-degree bend across it, and that's the wrong way. You want to do straight up and down, because when you bought it at Ace Hardware, it wasn't at a 45 cut across. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's just like the on the bearing plate. This piece here. This is the same thing. Instead of running the file this way, you just ran it straight up and down, and you can actually feel how sharp that is just by running your hand across it.
Yeah.
I know you can't, but it cleans that whole area up, which grabs and does all that.
Right.
And like I said, it's just the simple things of taking care of the tools. You can use, they last longer, and when you go to use them the next time, they're correct.
They work.
They work. Yeah.
I'm gonna jump off too. I gotta get up in the morning for work, but I'll see you next week.
All right, Bill. Pleasure.
See
you. Good weekend, everybody. Take care.
Right.
Yep. Bye bye.
So, but it's funny because like I said, I can't tell you how many guys just work so hard.
Oh yeah.
And
they
just
work against themselves.
Yeah. Just take a couple of minutes, and
Justin, what do you see in the shop? Do you see like with newer guys? Do you see people like that work? It's like they work hard. They work so hard to work against themselves. It could be easier if they just did it a different way.
For the most part, no. Everybody at the shop is pretty talented in the stuff that they might not necessarily know how to do something. Somebody else knows a good way. And, we're all pretty well working together. And now you should do this way, or, hey, there's a better way to do this. And for the most part, everybody listens.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I think a lot of
nobody. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that, Isaac?
I was going to say, I think a lot of that comes with experience. That for the new guys, they'll listen because they've been places where they've had experience and learned, hey, somebody's a little wiser. And then you have the older guys that have had the experience and they know 20 different ways to do it. And again, we all know the idea of work smarter, not harder. But I see it in coaching. I think it's in every aspect, in every walk of life, but I see it in coaching when a lot of the kids I work with are what you would consider inner city, and most of them have never played football. So it's their first time learning. And we'll go up against teams where the kids have been playing for years. And it's the same thing. We're explaining things, and until they see it on film or until we find a different way to get through to them, they're working against themselves. And now you take the kids with some experience, and they may not be the best athlete or whatnot, but they understand because of that experience to listen and to ask questions. But I think it's in all walks of life,
The willingness to learn is a big one. I've been in shops where, people come in just, nope, I know the best way to do it. You can't teach me nothing, and they don't last. And the guys that are willing to say, hey, maybe I don't know everything.
That
those are the
kind of
ones.
happened on this job today when I put the 2 lines in, and then we had an issue, and then I just, the guy that runs the desk, he's watching me. He was going to help me bleed the brakes, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on? What's happening?" I'm like, "I got a problem." I roll under there. Next thing you know, I come out, I pull it all out. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going for another plan." I said, "This was plan B. It didn't work out right." I said, "I'm going to plan C. I just got to think about it, and I'm going to do it from scratch again." And he's like, "Wow," because and he said to me, because I've been in so many shops, if a guy had to do something 2 or 3 times, he's cursing, throwing shit. I'm like, well, what's that going to get me? I still got to do the job. I still got to fix it.
Yeah.
I said, no, man. I said, I just get into that moment. Yeah, I don't like it necessarily, but, now I just got to come up. Now it's a challenge to come up with a better way of doing what didn't work,
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's like the guy that's trying to flat rate something, trying to, sometimes, like I said, I run into that still to this day when I walk into a shop and they've got a Audi or a Porsche in there or whatever, and I can see the gears turning in their head, and I'm like, "Look, dude, you really need to do it this way." And they're like, oh, "I think I can," and it's like, okay. And of course, you come back about 45 minutes later, and they're still trying, to do what they thought or the way they want to do it. And it's like, dude, you would have had it done by now if you just, done it. Sometimes, you can't reinvent the wheel on that.
Right. That's right.
And
that's right.
And it's good, like I said, for what you did, not still trying to force plan B, where you've next thing you know, you got 37 unions and 6 inches of extra line rolled around or whatever.
Right.
To make it work, and you're like looking at it, it's not the Mona Lisa when you get done,
No. Exactly. Yeah, you know what? I learned a long time ago. Sometimes you just got to know when to cut your losses and move on, and just like put it behind you. Now you got some scrap for next time, and just move on. And sometimes you got to work through a problem systematically. You got to make a few mistakes before you figure out the right way or the best way. That's the way it is.
I was talking to a guy, shop owner, and he had a older. It was an older Audi. It was like a 95 100, which of course it was the S version. I mean, it was it had the 5-cylinder in it and so forth. But I was like, oh, remember doing the dash? Because the dashes would go out on them, and it had that
dash ran out on my 5000.
Yeah, that plastic film, and you would solder in, like fix the solder the break point, and we used to fix them all the time. But we had one guy there that he would eliminate that. He would solder in a wire on one end and then run the wire to wherever it went, instead of fixing it on the film. He would just run this wire. And of course, after about 3 or 4 fixes, it's a hell. I mean, I used to say, "Oh, you're hanging Christmas lights," because it was just these wires all over the back of the dash. The customer never saw it,
right?
But when you had to pull that car back apart, to do something
in the electronics world, if we had a bad circuit board, a lot of times that's how we would fix it. We would actually run a jumper wire on that circuit board, and like you said, once it goes back in its box or cabinet or whatever, no one ever sees it. And if you do it right with the right gauge wire, it's not too bad. But a few times,
after a handful of fixes, it's starting to look a little ugly.
yeah.
Those were the good old days.
And I'm still pissed off that every body shop, they only have spools of red wire in body shops, because everything I get is always all red wire.
All red.
Buy some black, man, some green, blue, do something like a little bit of color code.
They make lots of colors.
Oh yeah.
Everything's red.
Yeah. Hey, red brown's good.
Well, what you were talking about earlier, guys, too, with the guys that don't listen or whatnot. One of the worst things when you're trying to help somebody and give them a little bit of knowledge is when they give you the "I know," and especially because they give it fast. They give it too fast, and they're already thinking of the answer of "I know" and not listening to what you're telling them. It's the worst. It drives me insane. It drives me insane.
Yes.
And they don't know. They don't know.
They think they do, though.
You see, when I hear something like that, I immediately just shut up and back off.
Yeah.
Okay, talk. Go on. Tell me what you're going to tell me, and then we're going to have a conversation here, because whatever you tell me is going to be wrong. It's going to be bullshit. It's going to be filler, and you're going to show me how much you don't know, I said, now no one's getting anything done because we're involved with your machinations of experience, which are zero.
Mm-hmm.
That's why sometimes it's easier working alone. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's nice to have help, but it's got to be the right help.
Exactly.
Because otherwise, then you're better off working alone.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
I got today I came across a classic, and I don't know what year Ford this is. Maybe I don't know, what is this, like I don't know, you can tell me. It's a Ford Custom 300.
Oh wow,
57.
57.
Is that 57?
57. Yeah.
That was gonna say 56.
That was in Dr. No. That's what they put James Bond was in.
That's what I thought. That was
I
found that. And then I found the Panzer tank back in the day when I worked on Mercedes. And that was the wagon. The W123 wagon. And these things we called them Panzer tanks because they had a diesel in them, and man, they were just brutal. These things were awesome. So that was my find today.
I'm gonna have to watch Dr. No now.
Yeah.
And I found another chopper.
Oh, cool! Nice.
I found another chopper.
And there was also a motorcycle in Dr. No. The girl was riding that Triumph with the Pickler fairing on it, the one that she drove off into the water. Those Pickler fairings,
right. Yep.
Those Pickler fairings are rare. A lot of BMWs use those. That was like I'm pretty sure it was a German deal.
And this, I don't know what this is. This is Cyberpunk 2077, and it's a 930 Porsche.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
okay.
Nice. Yeah,
this is supposed to be, I think I looked it up, and it's a new video game, but it hasn't been released yet. I don't know if there's issues or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. That's I got that to add along with my other Porsches. So
Nice.
but I like the custom 300, the Ford. That's a clean car right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
Those
very,
things are cool.
Yeah.
Very police department, FBI, CIA looking.
Yeah. That might have been like probably the same thing, probably on the early Annie Griffith Mayberry one, probably.
Oh, you know what? I think it. If memory serves me right, that is.
Yeah, because that show was like early '60s, so that would be right. That would fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never had brand new cars, so yeah, that would work. Yeah.
So, and then we got my.
You have to get one of those for your daughter for real.
Yeah.
For them around. Be an undercover.
And they re-released the MR2, but in red.
Oh, sweet.
The original, cool. Actually, it was green.
Oh wow, those MR2s were cool cars.
And the Dollar, I think the Dollar General or Dollar General, they had a white one. But the nice things, I mean, there's 4 different variations of this. You have right-hand drive, left-hand drive, headlights up, headlights down.
Wow.
See this one on the green one. See the headlights are up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
wow. So what if you want a green one with headlights down? You're screwed.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think they should make one with one headlight up and one down because that's usually how they all looked, right?
Yeah. Right.
Actually, today I was cruising down when I was getting down to going downtown Silver Spring. I looked over and there was one of those old MR2s. And man, she looked a little rough, but I can't believe it was still on the road.
Right. The XRPs.
Yeah.
Earlier, you were when you were bringing out the your loose cars. You picked up that your carrier, your box. And I was like, oh yeah, I've got like 2, 3 or 4 just like that. Like, I know that
you buy them at Joann's.
Yeah, I think that's where we got them. We might have actually got them when Kmart was still around.
Oh yeah,
I got them when my kids were young, and then my kids got out of Hot Wheels and stuff, and I was like, well, we're not getting rid of them. Give them to me.
Right.
I'll look at them all day and daydream.
Yeah.
Right.
I found a new case. I ordered. It was from hunting, fishing, and it's 24 bins, and the lid snaps on top, but it has eye holes to hang on the wall.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And I found that they were, I can't remember how much they were, but I ordered a couple to see if I like them or not. These I like. The only thing I don't like about them, unless you put them on a shelf, you can't stack them on top of each because of the where the handle is. You can't stack another one on top. So
yeah, I know what you mean. I know you were saying Joann's. I think I've seen them there, and then I don't know if you guys have Hobby Lobby. We have that. I think I've seen them there.
Yeah, we have Hobby. I've never seen them in Hobby Lobby. Usually just Joann's. I'm waiting. I have my daughter. She's a school teacher, so she gets a discount, and she usually tells me when they have like 30% off and with her discount, so we get them for like almost 50% off.
Nice.
So, and I have I'll have Ray's seen the picture. Or seen up at my pool table, or where my pool table is. I have all the walls have acrylic cases, and I have those all filled. All 3 walls, because one wall is a bay window.
That's awesome.
It's it's too bad. It's too bad. Of course, it's usually like this. The other part of the hobby or whatever you got for collection wise, the other part of displaying or keeping that stuff is so expensive. Gets just as expensive as buying this,
Yeah.
So it really.
And what's worse is as you go up in scale, it gets even harder.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
My 124 stuff. I got so much. I mean, I got tons of 124, and it wasn't until just recently. Well, last 10 years or whatever, I've been very, very selective about my 124 scale.
Yeah, I've only got a couple of things. I've got a Pantera. I've got the Transformer looking yellow Camaro.
Yeah.
I've got I think that's a 72 Chevelle. And then in the other room, I got a 69 Chevelle, the Ford Shelby Cobra concept car.
Oh yeah.
I gotta tell you guys, so you just sparked my memory, Isaac. There's a new channel I found on YouTube. It's just they just show you the clips of a movie where the car chases are in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all the older stuff. It's all it's like 70s and stuff. And I was watching one last night, and there was this. It was a nice, probably a Hugger Orange 70 Chevelle SS with white stripes. And this guy is ripping this car around. I mean, mercilessly. But then I like the scene cut, and he was chasing a kid on a bicycle of all things, But the scene cut, I had to rip back, and I'm like, wait a minute, what did I just see? Because they showed you the front of the car, then the back of the car, and then I saw the back. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a 69. They had two identical painted cars, but of different years, and they kept switching
back and forth. Yeah.
Did they think nobody was going to see this? I mean, the lights are totally different on the car.
Well, and the funny thing is most people that aren't car people, you don't catch it. A car guy, because I've watched so many different TV shows or movies, and I'm like, wait, that's not right. Wait, they flipped this around, or they did that, or
That's why my wife doesn't like watching stuff with me.
Yeah.
Right.
So can't you just leave it alone? I'm like, no, I can't.
No.
Well, and like with same thing with somebody that's been in the military, and they're like, no, that doesn't work, or this doesn't. And I remember my dad, we'd be watching the A-Team, and he watched it with me. It was our thing we did. We got a kick out of it. But he'd start yelling at the TV. Dude, that's point blank range. You can't miss that. He just go nuts.
Well,
and then, what does that mean? And he explained.
I'll tell you, my buddy Bill, he usually watches this show. I don't know if he's on tonight, and then he'll send me texts or whatever. But we were talking on the phone about a week ago, and he says, he knows I watch Adam 12, and so he says, he goes, a major operational flaw with Adam 12. I'm like, what's that? He goes, well, whenever they'll get a guy, they'll stop a perp, throw the gun on the ground. Yeah, I'll throw the gun, and they always grab the gun and they'll stick it in their waistband. I'm like, yeah, I've seen that. He goes, that is the word. You never do that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, he's because the guy could turn around and grab it again, and never do that. I'm like, okay, so look, it was 1968, so things have changed, But yeah, you just pick out all that small stuff. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, Coming to America in the scene in the first one in the scene that, and at that time when it first came out and it came on HBO or whatever, we're watching it, and I didn't know at that time my dad was born in Queens, and it's the scene where they go to Queens, and then all their stuff gets taken and they're showing around, and I go, wow, Dad, that's a crappy place. I wouldn't want to live there. Look at how horrible it is. And my dad had a way when you'd say a certain thing or you'd do something, he'd go, hey, and it was just booming and loud and make it just tighten up. And I turned around and he goes, I was born in Queens. And I said, oh, hey, without skipping a beat, I turn around and I go, hey, that looks like a great place. We still got family there. We going to visit sometimes?
Yeah, that's nice. Well, no, I will tell you, because Queens it's the next county away from me. I mean, it's I mean, I'm like 18 miles away from Queens, and I lived there for a couple of years, and I have family there. But parts of it are really, really beautiful. I mean, really, Donald Trump grew up in Queens, man, in Jamaica Estates. But they picked one of the darkest, and of course they did it like it was rainy, so it looked, it always looked a little worse in the rain and all. Yeah, they actually found the right spot to make it look like pretty bad. There are bad spots. Don't get me wrong, there are. So
well, every city has those spots, and and of course when they go on location and they're looking for specific things, to present it a certain way. And if you're from an area, I mean, most of the westerns, especially way back when, Clint Eastwood, the movie Tombstone was filmed down here. There's a lot that were filmed in this area, and you just see certain mountain ranges or whatever. Oh, you're like, I know where that is, or I don't, And then there's stuff too that they'll say is Tucson, or they'll say is a different place in Arizona. And you're like, that's not Arizona. That's not. There's no way.
Right.
They had an episode on what was that, NCIS, and the gunman or the guy they were going was in Burtonsville, Maryland. Well, that's where I live. I mean, I'm 3 miles from there. And of course, they show like this log cabin out in the woods. I'm like, that's not Burtonsville, but
Well, I learned about kind of like your area when I watched The Wire, and it was set in Baltimore. I'm like, what a hellhole.
Yeah. Well, that's in those 2 blocks. Don't worry.
Yeah, that is a hellhole, right? I know. That's the thing. They show you this little microcosm of it, and you don't know how much bigger it is. You don't know unless you've been there.
That was funny. I always like that episode because they're like, we'll be there and they're going down. They had the 95, and they had the streets right, but the pictures was nowhere near. That was always kind of funny.
Right.
Yeah,
that's funny.
And so.
Hey, sorry.
Go on.
I was going to say, I didn't catch the beginning and even in between when I came on. I was listening on my cell phone and I was in and out. Did you guys mention about the news today with the Queen?
The Queen? No, we didn't really get into it. I was actually going to say something when Nelson was showing his Morgan about, I was like, long live the Queen, but I knew something was up. I thought it was something funny because, when that new prime minister chick had to go meet the Queen, it was like she had to go all the way up to Scotland up there.
Yeah.
And they never really. They said that she went, but they never really show. There was no photo op, or there was no, there was nothing really talked about. And of course, she comes back, and it was funny because this morning when I got logged on, the first thing that popped up on my page was, the doctors are going to talk about the Queen's health. There was going to be a press conference or something about that. And I was like, man, that's really weird. And of course, the first report was that she had passed at Buckingham Palace. And I was like, wait a minute, she was supposed to be up in the other area.
Yeah.
And then they finally, when it came out, but I just thought it was kind of weird the last couple of, the last couple months have been really weird because with her the thing, and hey, when you're 96 years old.
Well, I'll tell you something strange happened today because I am under the flatbed working, doing my thing on the brakes, and one of the guys from the other shop came down to bring some parts, and he's Irish from Ireland. I mean, still has the brogue, like you got to listen to him, and it's cool because yesterday he stopped by in the evening. He sent them to the shop, to my shop, and they sent them with the keys. They told him to pass, the code for the alarm. He goes, what are you guys, what are you still doing here? I'm like, I decided to stay late to just get some work done, so to set myself up for tomorrow, so I have less to do tomorrow. You know, he's like, oh, cool. So he's back today, and I was working by the second bay, so he's in the office. He had some lunch, and I just heard him yelling and screaming, and I'm like, what the hell? I couldn't understand a word he was saying. And I happened to look. He came out. He was looking at his cell phone. I thought he was yelling at somebody on the phone. And he went back in, and he was still He was like it was like someone won the Grandmaster soccer match or something. He had just got the news that the Queen died. So when I found that out, I'm like, Paul. I'm like, what's with the happiness and glee? I mean, what are you so happy about? And he told me that in Ireland, apparently, I still didn't get the full story because I couldn't understand them. They didn't like her at all in Ireland. I guess they didn't like her at all. And whatever she had rule over them was kind of iron fisted, and they were just kind of like happy that she was gone. I was like, man, I never saw anybody, celebrating like that. It was like,
well, yeah, if you remember, well, for me, it would be the 80s, but throughout most of my childhood, remembering all the turmoil over there in Ireland and in Northern Ireland, and yeah, it shocked me so I got up, and of course we're 3 hours behind you guys, and they were saying on the news that she's not doing good, and they're calling for the family to show up, and I was like, oh, that's not good. I don't know what's going to happen. And I was doing something, and my phone went off, and it said Queen dead at 96, and I was like, no way. So because when the whole thing with Anne Heche happened, my phone set off a thing, and I looked it up, and she wasn't dead.
Right.
It was probably another day or two later they unplugged her, but
they miscued that one.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know. So I put it on the local news channel, and they had cut into the Today Show, and I was like, oh wow, and it just blew me away. I was like, I didn't think we, of course she was up there in age, but part of me was like, I didn't think I'd see this day.
She came into power. She became queen in 1956, I think it was.
Yeah,
52, maybe it was 52. That's a long damn time.
Yeah, it's been that's the longest. It
Yeah.
was the longest monarchy. It was 70 some years.
Right.
So
yeah, it's about 52, right?
And I think she was. If she was, I mean, she was in her early 20s.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Can you imagine that?
Early to mid. Yeah.
It's just how any of us could have been born into, but we weren't. It's like now I'm the queen. I'm the king. It's like, wow.
Yeah. And I thought a lot of that was screwy because Chuck there had to give it all up to divorce Diane, and of course when they reinstated that to him after he remarried the other chick,
Camilla Bowles, I think.
Yeah, Camilla. That it wasn't a big deal, and of course the kids. Hell, the kids all, gave up everything to do what they did. It was I don't know, man, because they were all saying that at one point that this could be, the change without having, that in their system or whatever, So, it'd be kind of interesting to see what happens now. Like everything else isn't already fucked up. We might as well just go ahead and throw that in.
Sure.
Well, supposedly during World War II, she was a mechanic and a truck driver for the service, for the military or whatnot. I'm sure it was, in their, in Britain, in their countryside.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was interesting to find out that she did mechanic work.
Hey, I found out that during World War II, I mean, my dad was in the service, but my mother worked in an RCA plant making tubes, making radio tubes. Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, she didn't know what the hell they were, but women, a lot of women went to work and did stuff like that. It's like,
Yeah.
you can train them how to do it. It's not a big deal.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's pretty cool.
it's
All hands on. It's funny now. There's a story in the paper here. It was today. They're putting up wind farms around on the coast, and they're mapping the ocean floor first because they have to find out the depths, and they got to be able to put the pylons. They go really deep. I think you probably go down to bedrock at some spots, because you got that you got to support that weight. And what they're finding is unexploded ordnance from World War II. And they've been finding everything from cases of hand grenades to 250-pound bombs. and they were talking about in the paper today, and the one guy was saying, listen, all we do is we map it and we report it up the chain, let the government know, and let the military know, and they'll put it on the official maps so that anybody can go in, fishermen or whoever, they have access to these maps and they can see where this stuff is. They said, we are not removing it. We don't touch it. Nobody touches it. They just leave it there. But, they want to map it to know where it is. So, there's no accidents. But
yeah,
they said a lot of it was off the coast of Rhode Island. They found a bunch of it. And I said, yeah, because wherever there was a Navy base, they would just dump, and they would dump chemicals too, just barrels of hazardous chemicals. And, like I said, cases of grenades and bombs. I guess some was probably unexploded ordnance, but it's like there's a lot of stuff out there that we don't see.
Yeah,
just like Lake Mead.
Yeah, right.
They're finding all those. They're starting to find those bodies. They got a They had to hire. They got a job offering to go clean up the cleanups.
Right. That's reverse. It's reverse engineering. Yeah.
Obviously somebody wrote down where they dumped that barrel, and now they got to go pick them up and find a deeper lake, because that's actually I watched something about that. That's actually kind of amazing that it's 150 some feet below. That's how much water's been lost.
Yeah.
And they said now that it's something like it's like close to 100 gallons. I think it was 100 gallons a week is being evaporated.
Wow.
Especially when they've had these temperatures of these triple digits, being over 100. It's something like it was like 100 gallons a week has been evaporated or something. Maybe it was a little long, maybe a month. But was amazing.
Maybe in the next couple of days we'll get lucky. There's a hurricane coming up this way, and we're supposed to be getting rain.
Yeah.
In fact,
there's one off of Florida too. We're supposed to get rain here next week, like Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe lingering even into Thursday.
Man, we got so much rain the other day, dude. It was unbelievable.
We had rain all day here, but it didn't accumulate to really anything. It was like that kind of light drizzly kind of stuff. It wasn't really heavy. It wasn't a downpour.
Oh, it sucked. And I was so damn wet. The tool truck leaks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And man, I was like very aggravated. Of course, walking around in rain all day. It's
now my wife knows my favorite thing to do is I love listening to the traffic report in the morning and in the afternoon. I'm like, and I don't have to be in it. Not that I didn't have a bad commute anyway. I was really close, but. And then the other thing is like when it's a rainy day, it's like, oh, nice. I love rainy days. I don't have to. I don't have to do anything.
when you're here, when you grow up here, you're here long enough. We love the rain because we don't get, we get spurts of it here and there, but we get a rainy or an overcast day. Today it was overcast. It was pretty warm though. It was, I think when I got in the vehicle, it said 103 or something like that. And that was with overcast.
No thanks.
And, but
man, we're down to 65 now outside. It's dropping.
Yeah, I think we're at 89 still.
Wow.
We got 64.
You guys got to water the cactus. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because right when the monsoons hit this year, the first storm that kind of hit us, my daughter calls me and she goes, "Dad, you at home?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Meet me outside. I'm gonna be pulling up." And I'm like, "Okay, what's going on?" "Well, you know it's raining, right?" And I said, "Yeah." So she pulls up. We take off. She goes, "You got to see it. It's running." And I'm like, "What?" And well, there's a wash behind our house. There's further up the road past the light. There's another wash. And she wanted to take me up to show me it was flowing really good. And in this one part where she showed me, there's a street there that goes into the neighborhood, but it dips into that little bit of a wash, and it was just flowing over it.
Oh, wow.
And we were talking about it when I was like, yeah, that's where people try to cross and they get taken downstream. And if they're unlucky, they get killed. If they're lucky, the fire department rescues them, but they have out here what's called the stupid motorist law. And for that, they charge you the 100,000 or 150,000 to get you out.
Really?
Yeah. But like I said, we pulled over there, we looked, and we turned around and headed home. And it was funny because she goes, "Dad, look at all those people pulling off the road to go look and take pictures." I'm like, "Well, you just picked me up." I'm like, "We didn't pull off the road, but we drove up here," you know. But that's how it is here. I mean, especially with the first big rain, everybody comes out of everywhere because
you just don't see it.
It'll literally go from with a real good downpour, and people that aren't from here kind of laugh because it'll be 110 degrees or so, and then you get this downpour, and if it's a real good 15-minute downpour, the temp drops to about 80 degrees, 70 degrees. Well, that big of a drop, people are starting to put on like a small coat.
Yeah.
And so people that aren't from here, they're like, "It's hot still. What are you talking?" But it's such a fast drop.
Right.
You get a chill.
That was funny. Like this morning, we went out food shopping. So I noticed things are changing already because my wife was complaining, it was a little cold because we're in like the vegetable aisle, everything is open. Then you go by like other areas and it's cold. And I said, "Look at this." I said, "Look at all the women that are coming in and they're either wearing like light fleece, sweatshirts, or," I said, "This other girl's got like a hoodie on with a jacket over it." I said, "But look at all the guys, shorts and t-shirts."
Yeah.
And we're walking around the island, and she's like just rubbing up against me. She's, "Why, your arm is warm?" I said, "Yeah, it's because my blood pump works." She goes, "Well, why is that?" I said, "Well, women you got bad circulation, man." I said, my circulation's good. I said, "I'm getting blood out to the skin. I'm warm." I said, "I can feel the coolness." I said, "But just last week," I said, "but you got the AC in the bedroom on 63 degrees. I said, "You don't complain about that." I said, "You get under all the covers, it's like, what the hell's the difference?"
Yeah.
So it's just funny how that difference between men and women, man. I'm like, a lot of the women. And I said, "Look at this woman over here. She's got the, long pants on, and she's wearing her fleece coat. And I'm like, but she's wearing flip-flops." I'm like, your feet are the first thing to get cold. Like, you got to keep your feet warm,
Yeah.
I'm like, so my wife is rationalizing it. "Well, she came in the car and outside it's warm, so she probably just put the jacket." I'm like, "Listen, don't go make it excuses."
Yeah.
Put on your sneakers, lady. That's funny.
Me personally, I don't like going out of the house, like to the beach, to the pool, whatever, with flip-flops or the slip-ons. That's fine. But if I'm out running up to the store and stuff, and I see people with flip-flops, and I'm like, I can't do it, because the way my mind works is if the shit hits the fan and I got to get moving, or I got to kick something, kick somebody, or whatever. My mind is constantly in that aspect of, I want shoes on so I'm not worried about my feet.
Yeah.
And it just, maybe it sounds a little crazy for some people, but for me, I'm constantly thinking about all those different things. Well, I mean, for one, I worked security a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking of all the different, we were taught to play the what if game or the what if scenario.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's like I said, it's not paranoia. It's just in playing that. And then you hear all the craziness that's gone on, especially this year across the nation. And now Canada has a mass stabbing. They can't shoot each other, so they have a mass stabbing.
You know, what you're describing, Isaac, is just preparedness. Be prepared.
Yeah.
For like any situation. I mean, you're never going to be prepared for every situation, but you can be prepared for more than most, you know.
But even at
home, my wife and kids, like, keep your eyes open. Know what's around you. Know who's around you. Know where you are. I tell my daughter was out there and I said, "Oh, where'd you go?" "Oh, I was over here." Like, she was in Manhattan. I'm like, "Where was that restaurant?" "Oh, it was down on like 3rd Avenue. I said, "3rd and what?" "Oh, I don't know." I'm like, "You got to know." I said, God forbid something happens and you got to pick up that phone and call 911. The first thing they ask is, where are you? You can't say I'm in a dining room. You got to tell them an address,
Yeah.
Always know where you are,
Yeah, I'm the same way with my family. I know the mountain. So we're kind of in a valley. So I'm like, know the mountain ranges. Know what you're looking at. Know east, north, south, and west.
Right.
I say, watch your surroundings. Every time my daughter goes, and she's at the university, but every time she goes, I'm like, watch your surroundings, be safe.
Exactly.
But even for me, I mean, even at home, I mean, I'll wear flip flops at home. I have some shoes that slide on real easy on and off. But even here, I pretty much can't even handle going barefoot out in the back porch or whatnot. Now, the key is with that, though, is we've had rattlesnakes in the yard and we've had scorpions. So I don't want to be in that backyard barefoot.
Good point. No. Good point. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, we do not like those rattlesnakes.
No.
I
was watching a channel on YouTube, and it's a guy and his son, and I think they're in Arizona, and they do a lot of videos on revolvers. They happen to be big revolver guys.
Yeah.
And they'll do unboxing, and they'll do like new guns, old guns, all sorts of stuff. That's what kind of attracted me to him. And the father will do, I guess he's probably about 70, and he'll do some shooting, and he'll always hand it over to his son. And his son usually does a little better, at least as good as the father. And he's always giving him crap about it too.
Yeah.
But they gave, I think it was a 44 that they were showing. And then he showed these loads, and the cartridge had a bullet that you could see through the top, and it was like dotted. And he said, these are my snake loads.
Snake shot.
And I'm like, what the hell is he doing? And he said, we do a lot of caving. We go into cave video, do a lot of cave videos. He goes, and there's snakes. He says, listen, he goes, you're not carrying a shotgun with you. He goes, if you think you can shoot a snake with a bullet, he says, you got another thing coming. He goes, it ain't going to happen. He goes, unless you get lucky. He says, but these bullets, it's like a little shotgun shell. I'm like, man, that's a good home defense cartridge.
Yep.
I'm like, I guess you got to be in Arizona to buy them. But
I don't know if they sell them anywhere. I would imagine Texas has them.
Yeah.
Usually, the funny thing is, usually Texas and Arizona are very similar.
Have you ever
in a
shot
lot of ways
like that? Have you ever?
Not in a pistol. I've seen them. Now that you say that, I'm gonna have to go get some and try it.
I'm wondering. I would imagine it'd be less blowback, less recoil. Because you're getting now all the pellets. You don't have one slug coming through the barrel.
I'd have to try that and give you feedback on it. Because now that you say that, I'm like, it's going to be probably about the same. But no, you might be right on that. But I mean, I've shot shotguns. I've shot quite a few things. I actually shot a revolver. We were out at the desert in an area where many years ago you could go shooting. Now it's all developed. You obviously can't. You're in somebody's house. But this thing, let's see. This thing, I mean, it was a revolver. It had a real long barrel. It shot rifle cartridge.
Wow.
and I couldn't tell you what it was. I know anybody watching that knows could say it. I know I have a handful of friends that would say, "Oh, it's this, you dumb." But it, so we're out there at this place shooting, and this older gentleman has it, and he's firing away, and he goes, "Want to try it?" I'm like, "Nah, it looks good. I'm having fun watching you." And he goes, "Come on, man. This is about a $4,000 pistol." He said, "When are you ever going to get a chance to shoot something like this?" And I'm like, when am I going to want to? He goes, "Come on, just try it." And I fired that thing one shot, and it kicked back. It slid down like this where it was pointing up. And I mean, I had a good grip on it. There's so much power, and it kicked back, and it ended up pointing up, the barrel pointing up, with still in my hand. But I was like, one's enough. Here you go. Have a nice day.
I will tell you this. The biggest gun I have is a 6-inch barrel 44 Magnum revolver. And with Magnum loads and wood grips, like wood hold presentation grips, not only does your wrist twist, but the gun does rotate. You got to have rubber grips on that thing, and then you can at least maybe hold it. But I found I got a 6-inch 357 also, and one day I had some wad cutters, and I threw them in there, and I'm like, damn, with the 6-inch barrel, shooting this thing is like shooting a 22. And I was putting them through the same hole a couple times, and I said, this is probably one of the best. This is probably a really good home defense cartridge, because it's not going to penetrate a wall. It's not going to penetrate your neighbor's wall. It won't go, and if you can't hit somebody you're going to be within 10 feet, 15 feet anyway. If you can't hit a guy 15 feet with a 6-inch barrel, you got, you shouldn't be shooting. So,
See, these are rock salt.
Oh, okay. What? Is that a 410?
That's 357.
Oh, no shit. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. Looks like lipstick.
Yeah.
Chapstick.
And then these are
right. That's the hollow point lead.
Yeah.
Right.
These were the ones that were in my dad's his service revolver. I mean, this was issued. This is government issue stuff here.
Did they make him change the ammunition like every so many months or so? Just
I don't know. Remember when we were talking to Papa Squirrel's wife about that, because I had it's in the safe, but he had like 8 or 10 speed loaders.
Yeah.
All they're all filled with this, and they have like a green. They have a little bit of green on them, and but this was. He had this. This was for. This was the one that he had in my parents' bedroom. That was. My dad told my mom, told her, just point at the door and shoot this.
Everybody's got a gun in the bedroom, for safety. But the one thing I don't even have, which I should, is earmuffs.
Yeah.
You let that thing off in the bedroom, man, you're deaf.
I joke about that because you watch these things when they're shooting inside of a car.
Yeah, right.
And dude, I'm telling you, I was stupid enough to shoot my 9 off in the middle on the car, and I tell you one thing, that's loud as hell inside the car.
Yeah.
I mean, a semi-auto, especially, at least a revolver, you don't have an open breech.
Yeah.
But,
but I always joked, my dad, I said, why does that got a funny tip? He goes, oh, it's rock salt.
Yeah.
He said, even if you hit the guy or the person, he said, it's going to sting like a motherfucker.
Right. Right.
But that's kind of like a buckshot type thing because it
Was your dad working for the feds or for local state?
He was a Secret Service agent.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was Secret Service, and then Interpol, and then he finished up in the Treasury Department.
Wow,
that's
awesome.
Yeah, he was from. I grew up when I was a little guy. He was on the Eisenhower detail, maybe Eisenhower, and we lived outside and up there. But I have many times playing on the farm and running through the house, and Ike had he had one. I don't know which hole it was, but from Augusta, Georgia, he played golf, and he had a putting setup like one of the holes at Augusta. Played on it. I've actually got one of his putters.
Cool. By with a wood shaft.
Huh?
It's by a wood shaft.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. But they had, even all that, even you talk about back in the day and today, but the Eisenhower farm, historically, it was funny because like the limo, it was I got a picture of it somewhere with me in it. But it was like a 60-something Chrysler, big ass Chrysler. But they couldn't. They had to keep the barn original, where the car sat in, So it was kind of weird, but playing around and all that.
Yeah,
that would have been a Chrysler Imperial.
Yeah, it was an Imperial. I think it was. But no, like I said. He did, he was on the Eisenhower detail, and then later on he was with let's see here, Ford, Reagan. He was with Reagan and Bush. I think what was that?
George
Carter.
W. Oh, Carter, yeah.
Carter, yeah.
Yeah. He usually went out a week before or 2 weeks before to round up all the crazies.
Setup. Yeah, do the setup.
Yeah.
He would go out and it was always funny because they, of course, that was another thing when when we're talking about watching TV and watching movies, it was always funny when they had something to do with the president because, my grandfather was also an agent. He was head of communications. He carried the football. He carried the briefcase with the numbers for Truman and so forth, and, it's always crazy when they watch something like that and they just shake their head, because it's it's Hollywood, it's not
right.
But
it's like when you watch car shows on TV, like
but it was always funny because my dad would say, "Oh yeah, we just we load up the Greyhound bus and we just clean up the street with all the homeless or people that are trouble." Give them a bag lunch and you just drive them around town, a couple hours. And when it's all over with, you pull back in, you let them all out and,
Yeah.
So
that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah. You just round them up and put them on the bus.
I remember reading stories of how they'd go in and I don't remember what period of time it was, but they would actually be welding manhole covers shut.
Yeah.
That's some great. That's security.
Yeah,
they did that down here when I was working downtown security still, and they did that. I think it was Bush. I don't think it was Obama. It might have been Obama's first term, but I think it was Bush. Yeah. Pretty sure it was Bush. And yeah, they came through and welded shut. And I wasn't I wasn't working that day. In fact, I know I wasn't working that day because they didn't come talk to me, to clear me or anything. So I mainly worked at night, usually graveyards. But I remember when we found out, we went and drove around and looked. Oh, look, it is welded shut, and and then I think it was like a week or two later that we came by and you could see the cut marks where they cut the weld.
They come through, they weld. They used to pick up all the mailboxes.
Right.
You would pick up all the mailboxes, all the trash cans, anything that was there, where something could be, dumped in or put, a bomb put in or whatever.
Yeah. They picked up all the mailboxes. Yeah. All the
they go through and do all that. There's a lot. I mean, like I said, it's really interesting. Behind, they had, I can't remember, but he had a protection detail with what was that dude's name? Kitchener, Henry, over in
Kissinger.
Yeah, and he said, of course they were over in Israel, and they pull up and he wants to go for a ride in a Jeep, and it's like, dude, this is like, and they rolled up and everybody throws the Uzi on their lap, and they're just driving through, and it's, crazy stuff,
Sure.
It's really, Pete's had quite a few. He told me one time, I don't know, it was one of those Prince, one of those guys from Egypt. I can't think of his name.
Prince Faisal.
I can't remember. It was one of those guys, and they would show up, they'd show up and it'd be protected detail, and they would say, well, one of my wives would want to go shopping, and they literally had bags of cash, and they would hand the dude, hand the agent or whatever. And, of course, my dad would go and 75% of it's counterfeit money. You know what I'm saying? It's not even, legit, but I can't remember what that Prince was. He's the one that went up to Harley Davidson and bought 20 bikes or something like that.
Can you imagine, we know what it's like having one wife who was out. Imagine having 10 of them. Come on.
Yeah.
Solomon had 700.
Yeah, it was. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of
when I was younger. When I was younger, Solomon was my hero. I was like 700. Really? I only want 4 or 5. I'm not that greedy. Now that I've gotten older, I'm like, I wish I could go kick my own ass.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was interesting. Like I said, it was. It wasn't until much later on till you realize the stuff that he did.
Yeah,
or,
right.
Saying, it's just like, my grandfather.
Because you grew up with it. So
yeah,
you had an insight that none of us ever had because you were that close to it.
I mean, and like I said, we would,
bullets at my house.
Huh?
I never had rock salt bullets in my house, man.
Right. So, no, but I'm just saying, like I said, it was just different, or you never thought of it or realized because we would, you go to the 4th of July.
I got something like this. This is actually a hand carved pipe.
Yeah,
and there's a stem. My dad, when he was in the Navy, went all over I backtracked through his career. This is from Morocco. I got a hassock over here that was hand. It was when they called Iran Persia. He was over there. He was in Africa. All of these hot spots. And years, I know we had he'd come home. We'd have a fez, the hat, the tassel, the fez. He was all over the place. As a kid, I didn't know what that was all about. Years later, I'm now become a little bit more of a World War II historian, mildly. I'm no expert. And I'm reading about where we were at different times, and he was in all of those places.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what was he doing? You don't just land in all these places. I still don't have all the answers, but I do know one thing. I found I had a binder of his, and he was in jet engine school, and studying, and it was all hand drawn. It was his notes from the classes, but it was from the 50s. We didn't have jets in the 50s, and Russia beat us to it with the early MiG, but we were right on their tail. He was in jet engine school in the 50s. I'm like, man, that was, it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, they.
Again, you don't know, you don't realize till afterwards what it really meant.
I seen a drawing. So I worked for a company, and we would pick up stuff to destroy. And there was a retired guy. Didn't think much of it at the time. There's a guy that was retired and had a very heavy German accent. And he asked me, he says, make sure all this stuff gets, I want to know it doesn't leave your hands. You take it to the place, and it's secured, destroyed. Yeah, it is. It will be. And he said, this is declassified, so it doesn't matter, but I don't want it out. And I said, no, it won't leave my sight till we get to where it goes and whatnot. Well, as I'm emptying the back of the truck, and we had a box truck, as I'm emptying the back of the truck, one of the binders slips loose, pops open, and I'm like, whoa, it's all in German. There was no swastika stuff on it, but it's all in German. And I start, of course, you're curious, so I start flipping through it. I see what looks like a high pressurized suit, a space suit, or like the suits they use for the space program, or like they used on the SR-71.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God. And one of the guys I worked with, he was like, oh, dude, we should keep it. I said, no, we got to destroy it. I was like, now in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, this would be awesome. But, I was like, I'm not that guy. If I give my word, I got to do it. But but again, I did get curious and flip through it. But I was like, this is a piece of history. I was like, why is this guy sending it off to get destroyed? He should send it to a museum.
Well, and there you go. Like after World War II, we did get a lot of German scientists over here. I mean,
exactly.
Einstein being one of them. We had a lot of these guys that came over here and worked on our, on our war effort. So yeah. That's what they want to do. Scientists, you want to do what you're trained to do, and it almost doesn't matter who you're doing it for.
If it's like being a car guy. If they give you carte blanche on everything, and you get all the toys, you get all the tools, top of the line, and build whatever you want within that, you're not going to say no. It'd be hard to say no. So it's the same concept.
Yeah, it's like, of course, my dad, I wish I had, 3% of the organizational skills that my father, my dad, everything was, very organized and very all together, but he still has all of his daily reports when he, was working. And it's so funny reading those things because, drove so-and-so here, or we did this, or we were having, those report. And, I'm sure, like I said, they're not supposed to really be out. There's nothing really secret in there, but, you're talking about, it's like taking, Mamie Eisenhower to the doctors or whatever, just the whole report, just reading, or when he was with Idi Amin, detail and so forth. It's very interesting stuff, reading all that stuff.
Well,
it's kind of insane.
You can take solace in knowing you may not have 3% of his organizational skills, but he didn't have 1% of the matchboxes you have.
No, but you want to talk about the organizational part. I've told the story once before, but I'll make it quick because I don't think Isaac's heard it. But he had a '79 Volkswagen Rabbit, and the head gasket needed to be replaced. And he's like, oh, I'll just take it over. And I said, Dad, we'll tear it apart, one weekend. I'll send the head out and have it done. and we'll put it back together. It won't be a big deal. We'll knock it out and blah, blah, blah. Put a timing belt, water pump, the whole 9 yards. He's like, all right. So I go over, tear the car all apart, put it all in. I say, I'll see you in a week. I go back the next weekend, and I walk in, and Mom goes, oh, I'm glad you're here. Your father has had such a great time in the garage all week. And I was like, all week? I said, what was he doing in the garage? I don't know. He was working on the car. And I said, what do you mean working on the car? And she's like, yeah, he'd come home and change and go out and work on the car and then come, have dinner and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so, my dad comes down and he's like, you ready to put the head on? He goes, I've been working on the car. And I said, well, what the hell you been doing to the car, Dad? And he goes, I'm getting it ready for us to put it back together. I said, all right. So I go out, and he had taken and cleaned every bolt, nut. He soaked it in gas and then rethreaded it and cleaned and took all the brackets, cleaned them, painted them, got all this stuff and had it all laid out on this table. And I was like, that's really nice, Dad. But you added about 7 hours of work to putting this thing back together. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, remember when I pulled the water pump off and I kept the bolts in the holes that it was? And he goes, yeah. I said, well, that's how I know to put it back together, because those bolts are all different lengths. They're different sizes. And I said, now you've taken them all and put them in a big bin, cleaned them all up and mixed. Now I said, we got to test fit each nut, bolt, washer.
Yeah.
Everything. He goes, oh, I guess I should have just left it alone. I said, well, it looks really nice, Dad.
Yeah.
I remember you telling that story a while back, actually. It's a good story, though. There's that one, and then there's the when you brought the Scout home and steam cleaned it.
Yeah.
Internally.
Yep. When I told him it was thirsty, he was like,
good memory, Isaac.
Well, no, the day I was listening to that one, I was like, wait, I've never heard of that before. And I was like, I got to go to YouTube and pull up videos and Google. And I was like, oh, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever heard my story. When I worked at the auto electric shop, we always had beater vehicles that we used for delivering. And, they get them for a couple $100 and, run them around and then throw them out when they were done. And one time the boss, they bought a Pinto. It was a Pinto wagon, and it had a sunroof. And the one boss tells me, he says, listen, he goes, I want you to run this car up to the car wash. It's filthy. I'm like, yeah, okay. All right, good. I said, you want me to, have him do the inside? He goes, yeah, run it through the car wash with the windows open and the sunroof open. I'm like, Tony, what, are you kidding me? I thought he was busting my balls because he was always, he's like, no, I'm serious. He goes, I want this thing washed inside and out. I said, well, how am I going to get back? It's going to be soaking wet. He goes, bring a plastic bag or something, put it on the seat. I don't care. He goes, I said, okay. And I said, I hope you're serious, man, because I will run it through the car wash. And I did. And that's what he wanted, because, it had a bit of a funk in it. I was like, yeah. Okay.
That's I had a shop. I have a shop. One of my shops I go to is right next to a car wash. And I would have never, ever believed it unless I was there, But this guy this older black guy had like a 65 Galaxy. And he was a regular to this gas station. And we see him going through the car wash about like 4 times. And the mechanic, Ken, he goes, I said, isn't that dude the guy that you put that carburetor? It was a carburetor. He goes, yeah. He goes, man, I don't know what he's doing. because he'd come out of the car wash, get right back in line, and go through. So finally, he comes over to the gas station. We're all sitting there, and of course, me being a smart ass, I asked him. I said, "Is it clean?" You know, and he's like, "Man," he goes, "I finally came over here." He goes, "It's running hot," and I thought I'd cool it off.
That's funny. Well, he shouldn't have been getting the steam clean then.
And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, the car's running hot, and I ran through the car wash a couple times thinking I could cool it off, but something must be wrong." And I was like, "Man,
that's cool."
That was like, God, what? I mean, what are how's the mindset or the thinking of that?
Right.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Ran into the car wash, trying to get it cool.
Well, I've had people think I'm crazy. I've had where, I've run into people, broke down on the side of the road, and they're like, it's overheating, and I have looked at it and said, okay, look, it's coming from here or whatnot, and I'm like, look, once we get them going again, I'll tell them if it starts heating up, and it probably will, but so you don't have to get a tow truck if you're just going a few miles down, put the heater on, but put it on defrost. I said, and they're like, but it's got to be on defrost so it's not blowing in your face. It's 110, 115 degrees outside.
Yeah.
You're going to be in hell, right? You're going to go through hell right now, but roll your windows down, and they're like, it works. And I said, I've been on the furthest side, opposite side of town, went to go help a friend pick up some things, some of his stuff. Gosh, I want to say this is probably 20 miles or more on the other side of town. Got out of the truck and see that the water pump or something's dripping. And I'm like, oh, we got a problem. And we load up, head back, and I run. And I've told people, I'm like, I've run the heater all the way across town and made it across. It didn't spike or anything. I said, but I'm watching that temp gauge. I said, I got home, had to do a timing belt and water pump or whatever, but I said, yeah, it works. I said, but you got to watch that temp gauge too.
Yeah.
Because if it's not working, or if you lose all your fluid, then you got to get off the road and don't cook your engine either. But again, usually when I've told people around that I've run into, I'm like, you're just going a couple miles up the road, you should be fine. Watch that temp gauge and whatnot.
Right.
But
yeah. Crazy.
So I was curious. So when we were talking about the Secret Service stuff and where they pick up the transients and whatnot and run them around on a bus, it made me think, what's your guys' thoughts? I guess up in DC and New York area, both Arizona and Texas. I don't know about New Mexico, but we've been busing the illegals up there and saying, hey, you don't want to, you think it's not a problem. Well, then here, have it. What's your guys' thoughts on it?
I know, the city, New York City is a sanctuary city.
Yeah.
Where I am I'm out in the suburbs. We're not a sanctuary county, but I have seen recently people at the highway on ramps and off ramps, standing there with signs. And my wife kept saying, could these be some of these immigrants now that worked their way out our way? Because they seem to be. Now, we never had them out here ever. Yeah. And now all of a sudden we're seeing them in multiple places, even at the shopping center. We went food shopping this morning. There was a Kohl's before that, and there's, a lady standing there. She's got a sign, and she's waving at people, and she's, one of those things. There's a guy right over here near me by the Parkway, and he's got a big sign that says "free water." Free water. It's like, yeah, free water, and then like, well, if you want to give me a donation, I can sure take it, and he'll throw it in his bucket. And I'm like, it's only going to be a certain amount of time before the powers that be get word of this and run these guys off.
Yeah, that's crazy.
From what we've gotten down here on our end of it, is that the mayors of the Washington D.C. and New York, they're really upset. But again, we're like, well, okay, but from our aspect is you're making policy and it's not at your doorstep, it's at ours.
No, yeah.
Where I live, we're 90 miles from the border.
Right.
And the other thing that they don't realize is you have people that come across, and mind you, they're not a good portion of them want to come for a better life. And my thing is there's a right way and a wrong way. But what a lot of Americans don't realize is there's a lot of people that are dying in the desert, and it's not across the national news, where this time of year it's deadly. And then you hit them, and it can get deadly from the heat, but then they're climbing up a mountain range and you have a thunderstorm hit and that temperature drop, and now you're up in elevation a little bit. That's a factor. In the winter, it easily gets to in the 30s here at night. Right. So we've got extreme heat and extreme cold for this environment, for this area. And it bothers me because it's like you want to tell these people just come, and people are dying in the desert, or they're struggling in the desert. It's very dangerous for them. And then you have the coyotes that bring them up, that rob them, and many other unthinkable or unnameable things. Not too far from me, somewhat north, and I'm kind of further on the north part of town, but somewhat north of me, they had found, and I don't remember if they ever came down to the exact story. They did catch the people, but they found a box truck with a bunch of dead illegals in it. And the coyote, I don't remember if he outright murdered them or if he just left them and they died. It's like that not too long ago in Texas it happened. They found a bunch of them in the semi truck. So you get where they shoot them, or they rob them and then shoot them for more money, and then or they just dump them on the side of the mountain somewhere in a box truck, and these poor people die. And it's like a lot of these people making policy are saying, well, we care. That's not caring for these people.
I think the problem is just letting them in indiscriminately is the problem. People have to be vetted. There is a process. We're a country of immigrants.
Yeah.
But,
oh yeah.
People in my family immigrated here from other countries many years ago, and they did it the right way. They learned the language and they assimilated into the culture, and that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, they still kept their own, their own customs and their own heritage, and of course you're going to do that. Yeah. But now you have people come in that don't know the language, and they're just you're putting them into cities, and there's a lot of problems associated.
Yeah. Well, that's less like I have a lot of guys that are illegal or going through the process to become legal, and they're even madder because they're doing it the right way. Yeah. And of course, if you have these, like I said, you got this influx or a flood of people coming in, and they're busting them and moving around. I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah. But
I mean,
like I said, it's tough.
Justin's the only safe one. He's way far away. He's like
it's too cold. It's too cold.
Yeah.
It's too close to Canada. They don't like that.
Real close. You don't hear the moose.
Right.
On one aspect, I can say I don't agree with busting them up there because you're just pushing them off. I agree with it in the sense of making a point, and it becomes kind of that, I don't know if you want to say dirty politics or playing dirty, but it's kind of like, well, you've been playing dirty with us. So yeah, I can see both sides of it. And then too, like you said, with the immigration, as I said, with my mom's family being here so long, the border just moved on us. So we're legal that way. But on my dad's side, we're Polish. So I'm half Mexican, half Polish. And on my dad's side, they immigrated, I think it was right before World War I, and they immigrated there in New York. And I was going to say Paris Island, but I meant to say Ellis Island.
Ellis Island, yeah. They became Marines right away.
Yeah, they right off the boat and into the Marine Corps. But you know, I think about that and think about what they did, and it's like there's people that came and went through the struggles and immigrate for whatever reason to leave your homeland to come somewhere else. That's a major thing.
Yeah.
Whether and even for the ones that quote unquote are coming for the right reasons but the wrong way.
Right.
But at the same token, look at all the ones, the ones that came through Ellis Island, the Germans, the Polish, the British, the Spaniards, the you know, all the way
Irish,
down the line.
Italian, Portuguese,
Irish, Italian, yeah. Look at all that they've done, and like you said, that they keep their culture. They've kept their culture. There's different pockets throughout the United States, and their culture's still there, and that's a great thing. Nobody's saying lose your culture, but you know, I'm sure there are a lot of people very angry with the influx inappropriately or the wrong way when they're so many generations in and their family did it the right way.
Absolutely.
And the hard way.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. And the government is just not even acknowledging the issues or the problems. Just turn a blind eye.
Well, you know, our second in charge, she's never been to Paris either.
I know. Right.
You haven't been to the border. I've never been to Paris. Okay.
Right.
2 + 2 = Jello, I guess.
Exactly. Well, I'm starting to turn to Jello. I'm getting tired. I got to go to bed.
You know, I got to get ready to run credit cards.
Isaac's brought a whole nother level of lateness to this show.
The late show.
I've got the unfair advantage. I
know you do.
You know what time?
Late show.
It's only 9:30 here.
It's 9:30.
Yeah.
He can still he can get ready and watch the episode of Emergency.
Right.
And of Perry Mason, and then Emergency coming
Perry
up
Mason's
on
over now. Yeah.
I could probably rewind it on the on the DVR or whatever.
All right. Well, since you got all the energy, you want to take us out tonight?
Sure.
What do we always say before we get out of here to the people in the parking lot waiting for us?
You can follow us on is it Instagram? I know you can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube, but don't follow us home.
You got
There you go.
That's it. Are you gonna get a little rock salt in your ass?
Yeah, that's exactly why you don't follow us home. I'll tell you this much: it's not just rock salt or anything like that. I keep knives everywhere too. So knives, blunt objects. I coach, so there's baseball bats. You might catch a football upside the head.
So, our gracious host, Ray Guarino, Motormouth Radio. I'm not in the studio this week because I'm going to a car show. My friend Bill asked me to attend his prestigious car show on the shore of Queens, Whitestone. Just looking at the Whitestone Bridge. It's a beautiful place for a car show.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing a replay. I'm going to do one of the.
You've done it live there though before, right?
I have, and I'm going to replay one of the live when I did a remote from there a couple of years ago. And so I won't be in there live this week. And then I get to go to the show and hang out and do that stuff. And then of course, Coach Isaac and Justin from American Gas Hot Rod Shop. All you guys, thanks for hanging. And we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great. You guys be safe. Watch out.
You too. Take care.
Take care, guys.